Who takes let's go down. Spade dropped onto the ground. Jabat goes down as well for X-Men. X-Men not looking great at all.
Teams will be squished in together. Who will take this fight and who will take this booyah?
It's going to Almighty on our screen. They're putting up the kill. Shira is down, but Batman, he's running into the center. We plan to smash it. He's pummeling through everyone. Can Almighty do this? He's the last man alive. Almighty turns around, and I think they've done it.
But he does not get the hits onto Batman, and Batman can't even pull those flanks off. Beautiful nade placement coming through from Jembal, but Shira gets taken down, eliminated immediately. Gives me so much of confidence in this team of Enigmax. V2, beautiful nade now being tossed up front. And you know, you did talk about V2 a little bit earlier on in this competition. What crazy placement. Manchai might be able to go in for the knock on a couple of players, but if he wants to take advantage, he needs to get the delete as well. Players from the side of Enigmax now coming in for the snuff. V2 with those questions, and Manchai needs to get away, but with the shotgun is able to bring in so much of challenge.
But let's go gets another snipe, and Goku, he has to spend so much time. That's when they fly through. This might just be it. This might just be the back that ends it all for X-Men Expert.
Saya perlukan sokongan.
Takes let's go down. Spade dropped onto the ground. Jabat goes down as well for X-Men. X-Men not looking great at all.
Teams will be squished in together. Who will take this fight and who will take this booyah?
It's going to Almighty on our screen. They're putting up the kill. Shira is down, but Batman, he's running into the center. We plan to smash it. He's pummeling through everyone. Can Almighty do this? He's the last man alive. Almighty turns around, and I think they've done it.
But he does not get the hits onto Batman, and Batman can't even pull those flanks off. Beautiful nade placement coming through from Jembal, but Shira gets taken down, eliminated immediately. Gives me so much of confidence in this team of Enigmax. V2, beautiful nade now being tossed up front. And you know, you did talk about V2 a little bit earlier on in this competition. What crazy placement. Manchai might be able to go in for the knock on a couple of players, but if he wants to take advantage, he needs to get the delete as well. Players from the side of Enigmax now coming in for the snuff. V2 with those questions, and Manchai needs to get away, but with the shotgun is able to bring in so much of challenge.
But let's go gets another snipe, and Goku, he has to spend so much time. That's when they fly through. This might just be it. This might just be the back that ends it all for X-Men Expert.
Kill.
Saya perlukan sokongan.
Takes let's go down. Spade dropped onto the ground. Jabat goes down as well for X-Men. X-Men not looking great at all.
Teams will be squished in together. Who will take this fight and who will take this booyah?
It's going to be Almighty on our screen. They're putting up the kill. Shira is down, but Batman, he's running into the center. We plan to smash it. It's public to everyone. Can Almighty do this? He's the last man alive. Almighty turns around, and I think they've done it.
But he does not get the hits onto Batman, and Batman can't even pull those flanks off. Beautiful nade placement coming through from Jembal, but Shira gets taken down, eliminated immediately. Gives me so much of confidence in this team of Enigmax. V2, beautiful nade now being tossed up front. And you know, you did talk about V2 a little bit earlier on in this competition. What crazy plays, man. Manchai might be able to go in for the knock on a couple of players, but if he wants to take advantage, he needs to get the delete as well. Players from the side of Enigmax now coming in for the snuff. V2 with those questions, and Manchai needs to get away, but with the shotgun, is able to bring in so much of challenge.
But let's go gets another snipe, and Goku, he has to spend so much time. This when they fly through, this might just be it. This might just be the bang that ends it all for X-Men Expert.
Triple kill. Shut down. Quadruple kill. Quadruple kill.
Survivors, saya perlukan sokongan.
Hello and welcome to day 6 of the Free Fire MCP Major Season 2. My name is Holler and with me is the amazing Danley. How are you doing today on this fine Sunday afternoon?
Oh, it's Sunday and it's supposed to be really, really calming, right? It's your day off for whatever you're doing from school, from work. But I feel like today is probably the most stressful day for me because this marks the halfway mark for the MCP Majors, right?
Mhm.
So it's the last day for the teams to play in their current brackets, or at least their current groups. And then after this, I believe they're going to be shuffled into brand new groups. And then all of a sudden, we're back to square one. You really don't know how your groups are going to end up being.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they change it up so that you have a widespread of good teams throughout. I think we've seen that Group A, we talked about them being somewhat the weaker team, which has kind of gone on to form in terms of the first 3 weeks that we've seen so far. Group B is kind of like the middle one. Group C has been your group of death. This is a group that has the monster teams. They've been doing quite well, although they don't have the first place team of Supreme Assault Forces.
I mean, it's probably a good thing, right? Because it would be I would hate to be in a group with SAF to begin with, because you're probably thinking, okay, well, that's where most of the points are going to be funneled. So where's mine? Like, where's my scraps? Because that's essentially what's happening in the SAF group. And I actually had a thought today when I was getting ready for the broadcast. I was thinking, I wonder what poor teams are going to be paired up with SAF for the next half of the MCP majors, right? Because if you have that team in every single one of your matches, you have to feel a little bit demotivated.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, while that is definitely very true, Supreme Assault Forces yesterday had somewhat of a mediocre day, an off day for them, although it's still quite high. I mean, they scored 43 points. They did very well. But the other teams that really kind of just picked up the slack, they made sure that, hey, if Supreme Assault Forces isn't going to get all the kills, we will take them all. Metrics got 56 points. That was the monster day for them. They even got 2 booyahs with that. So just very well played by Metrics going into this one.
Now, just a reminder for everyone tuning into the broadcast that there are 2 stages to the MCP majors. We are currently in the league stage, and this is the money that all the teams are currently playing for. Now, it's not just the money. This is, I guess, a little bonus for the teams because they didn't manage to make it this far. Now, if you make it to the top 12, you'll be moving on to the next stage, which is considered the final stage, the playoffs, the grand finals, whatever you want to call it, the last hurrah for even more money. But this is what the players are currently working for at the moment. SDF, I think at this point we can say that they've secured themselves this $2,000 in first place, because I doubt anyone is going to be able to catch them.
Yeah, they have a 76-point lead. I think that they're very much in the driver's seat here. They're just very comfortable. They should be fine moving in. It's just, I mean, mind you, we have 7 more play days to go, including today. So we have a lot more time. But I mean, considering the fact that they're still averaging about 40 points at least a day. Total, actually, the actual average points for them was about 60 points a day. Yesterday was a really off day for them. So it's kind of throwing me off. And of course, their averages as well. But Supreme Assault Forces, it's going to be kind of hard to just deal with. But as you said before, the top 12 move into the grand finals. This is the big dance. This is the final stage where you have the slate is clean. Everybody starts from scratch. Supreme Assault Forces, it doesn't matter about your lead at this point. Everyone is fair game. And if you can score in the top 3, I mean, I'm looking at number 1 of 15,000 USD, you're getting yourself some big dineros for all of the free fire action for you.
It makes me wonder what the players would actually want to spend that money on, if they're maybe saving up for something. I know for some of these players, I think they're probably looking at a new phone, because at the end of the day, your phone is kind of important. You want to get as many frames as possible. You don't want to be dropping frames at all. So I kind of want to see what phones that everyone's going to be grabbing.
So everybody's going to grab a new phone. I mean, but if you got first place, first, second, third, I don't think you need a new phone at that point, right? I think that you've got something that's capable and definitely, can play to the highest level. So I don't know about phone for me, but maybe in the future in all of that. But the point system for all of this, first place is going to be your elusive Booyah. That's going to get you 12 points. Second place is going to be 9 points. A little bit of a drop off there, and 8, 7, 6, and so on. If you're eliminated 11th or 12th, you're going home with that, the ugly donut. I know, Danny, I know you hate that, but they do get 0 points for that. So that's a little unfortunate for them. You do not want to get eliminated early. But aside from that, you also get a single point for every single kill that you get. So you need to make sure that you kill everybody while placing and making sure that you're surviving and being hopefully for that first place for the Booyah.
Yeah, we actually saw that come into play for one of the teams yesterday. I forgot who it was, but they got 7 kills before they went out. They ended up being bottom 2, but when it came to the points overall, they actually finished in the middle of the pack. So it just goes to show that, yes, maybe if you're one of the first 2 teams to go out, it's gonna suck, but if you get those kills in, then you're making up for the fact that you've ended up as bottom 2 in terms of placements.
And I look at places as kind of like a luck factor, right? Sometimes the circle's not
Yes.
great for you. Sometimes you get eliminated, you get third-partied or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if you're able to get those kills, that's going to be the most consistent way of getting yourself those points that you need. Now, for today's league stage, we have day 6, of course. This is going to be Kalahari and Purgatory. We're going to be alternating between the two. A little bit of different in terms of not having Bermuda in the map rotation. But your thoughts on Kalahari and Purgatory here?
I mean, I'm always a big fan of Kalahari. It brings out a completely different style of Free Fire because I feel that Purgatory and Bermuda, they're so similar. They're so similar in terms of structure, they're so similar in terms of the map layout, whereas Kalahari, it's very unforgiving. There's a lot of vertical surfaces that the teams can use, and so the circle can be really volatile on Kalahari. I feel like you can get some really crazy circles where a team that is in such unfavorable position is all of a sudden actually in the best possible position. So I love Kalahari. The only thing is it is a little bit slow to get into. So I don't want to say it, but it's a little bit boring at the beginning when the teams play very passively because looting seems to be the way to go if you start on Kalahari. You don't want to go into that early aggression. Too many teams have been punished that way in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely a slower game. I mean, I think there was one time, I think there was like the first team that was eliminated in like, 10 minutes into the match, which is an eternity. But if we're looking at the group stages here, Group A, B, and C, 6 teams for all of them. We've talked about, Group A being weaker, B is kind of the middle ground, C is the top. And I mean, Group C yesterday, they had an average score. Like the worst team in Group C was Woos. They had 32 points, bringing down that average. But nonetheless, every single team in this Group C of Death was averaging about 40 points. A little bit of perspective, Group A, their averages were about 25 points a team. So just completely different in terms of play style.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also have to consider that the biggest winner for Group A was Enigmax, right? They were basically taking all these points away from the other teams, so it did lift up their score. I do believe if we remove Enigmax, the score would actually go down a considerable amount because I think outside of Enigmax, no one else really did that well for Group A. I mean, Tactical Intex was okay.
Yeah. I mean, they got their first booyah of the league, right? We got to give them, we got to put a little respect on their name. Getting that booyah is not easy to do. Tactical Intex was relatively quiet throughout. But I mean, they've been scoring consistently well. They've been on the rise. They've scored 33 points first day, 16, 32, 40, and 46. You have a little bit of an upward trajectory, which is where you want to be. Tactical Index, definitely a team to watch from Group A. The second one that really stuck out to me was Do Easy. They had 39 points. Right, that was second place in terms of the group. Do Easy, they have not had a good run in this league so far, and they've really stepped up.
Yeah, but they're going to have to keep stepping up now, right? Because I feel that Do Easy, they're still in such a dangerous position on the leaderboard. I don't believe they're in top 12. They're very close, but they haven't guaranteed it, and that's the most important thing. If they can guarantee that top 12, then they might be able to rest easy a little bit, but it's just the race down there. It's so close.
Yeah, it's very close. I mean, Do Easy to, they're actually 13th place right now. They're on the heels of Bloody Head. They're about 14 points away. So, if we're looking at the overall standings here, I mean, Supreme Assault Forces, AKO Legend, PXG, Radicals, Blacklist, and 4X Men, like we expect these guys at the top. They all have more than 200 points, although Supreme Assault Forces in a completely different tier, right? But aside from that, if you're looking at some of the quieter teams, right? Woos has been there, Freedom Rumble, Metrics, which had a monster game yesterday, but don't disregard Tactical Index, Umbrella Reborn. These are teams that I see on the upward trend. I think we'll see more of these guys to come in the league.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens from now on, but I'm really looking forward to today's matchup. I mean, it's Kalahari first. I'm a sucker for Kalahari. I'm very sorry.
It's
but
a
I
lot of
want
fun
to
to
see.
watch.
It is very fun to watch, but I'm really interested in seeing in whether Group A is able to keep up that momentum from yesterday into today's match, right? Because something that happened yesterday that took a lot of us on the panel off guard was the fact that SAF were obliterated during the mid game. They never managed to make it into the late game, and they ended up just having very average finishes
so
in the
see.
group. So we'll have to see. Is it going to be a bit of a bomber day again for SAF, or are they going to pick it up and learn from those things that happened yesterday? Because we had this interview with them earlier in the week, and they said that they focus on themselves and they're trying to fix their own issues. So maybe they're going to be able to patch them up. We don't know.
Okay, well, maybe they're looking a little too deep internally because right now, I mean, yesterday they had their worst showing of the league. But mind you, it's still 43 points, which is much higher than a lot of other teams have even gotten to throughout the entire league. So they've done really well for that. But in the sense of, hey, yesterday was an off day. I expect to see Supreme Assault Forces actually pick it up to do a little bit better. They didn't even get a booyah yesterday, which is completely unheard of in this league so far. So again, just SAF. I mean, we're going to hear these guys. I don't think they're going away. Day 6 is still going to be in play for them.
Yep. And to all of our viewers at home, if you don't know who to be cheering for, here are some teams that you should keep your eyes on. Now, of course, Supreme Assault Forces, I'm very sure there are a lot of fans in the chat right now. No surprise, these guys are insane when they're playing at the top of their game. AKO Legends, super fun team to watch. Highly recommend them if you're looking for a team to be cheering for. And PXG Radicals, I still consider these guys a dark horse. I know they've been performing, but these guys, they're so good. They came out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is a team to watch. PXG, they're not going anywhere. I think that they've been consistent, throughout the entire league, right? And I think that's, it says a lot about a team and just how good they are. If you can be consistent, make sure you get those kills, endless plays and points. PXG is not a name this is a team that we will definitely see in the top 12 in that grand finals.
Oh, easily. I mean, if they somehow drop to 13th, I'd be very shocked.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
They'll definitely be there. I'm really looking forward to the final day because, as you said, right, it's a complete reset for the teams. It doesn't matter how many points you manage to accrue during the league stage. In the finals, it's basically you do or die, right? So I'm wondering how these teams are going to adjust their playstyles when it comes to that final league stage. Like, how many of these teams have been keeping strats, or how many of these teams have been analyzing certain teams? Like, what are the chances of, for example, AKO maybe studying SAF's flight path, and then on the grand final day they're going to try and chase SAF to try and knock them out early? The potential is there. Yeah. So what are these teams going to pull out? We don't know. We've got another 3 weeks to go until the final stage, but I'm so excited. It's so far away.
And there's a lot you can get even from playstyle, right? You tend to find the teams are going to drop in the same areas, right? They might change it up here and there a little bit, but at least you have a little bit of intel in terms of where people are going. So that's definitely something, just if you check the replays, you're going to get a lot of insights in terms of where these teams are going and just kind of how they play out. And I would love to see 3 teams just jump on them and then just try to take out SAF early.
Or maybe give SAF all the kills. We don't know. Because SAF is pretty damn good at fighting as well. Now, just a reminder to all of our viewers at home as well, we do have some lovely goodies that we're going to be giving away throughout the day. We're going to be giving away the Great Plunder Groza box, 2 of them for each person. We're going to be revealing the code later on today, so make sure you stay tuned, because once that's revealed, make sure to claim it, because the code will expire at the end of the day. So if you don't get it today, too bad. We are generous, but also very strict. Free stuff. Make sure you take it. Are you going to claim it too, Hola?
Of course. And I'm actually going to take a screenshot because I'm a nice guy, and I'm going to share it to all my squad mates. Make sure that they can get in on the loot as well, because it's not, first come, first serve. Everybody gets one, so I'm just happy to pass it around, make sure that everybody gets access to it in that limited time that it is available. But okay, it looks like we're going to have Group A versus Group B going at it to start things off. Kalahari, you love this one as well. Yes. So which are the teams that we should be looking out for going into this one?
Man, I'm going to say Metrics. They were on fire yesterday, especially in the A versus B matchup. So I'm going to put my money again. Metrics, take it home for me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ride with the Group A teams. I think Tactical Intex, I liked what I saw yesterday. I expect to see more of that consistency. I want to see them moving forward. A Tactical Intex is a team for me because I don't want to go with the easy hype train of SAF, PXG, or AKO. I'm going to go with one of those lesser teams because I love the underdog story and I want to see these other teams really shine here.
Fair enough. I mean, it is really nice to cheer for an underdog, right? It's if things go bad, it's like, it's okay. We've got next time. The expectations are not too high, but then once they're doing it, it's like, oh god, yes, oh my gosh. Sometimes I swear I'm a bit too loud when I watch these matches because I'll wake the baby from all the noise that I'm making. Oh, it's hilarious. Right. Anyways, so for Kalahari, I believe the lobby is almost set up. We're going to throw it to the castle in just a second, but do we feel it's going to follow that normal trend of just being a super slow start? Or do we feel that these teams are starting to pull out some of these strats? Because yesterday we saw a lot of teams just dropping on top of each other. It was quite marvelous when we saw 3 teams dropping on top of each other yesterday. So do you think it's a possibility today on Kalahari again?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, when you're going in, I think it's the first game, right? We talked about the fact that you need to warm up, you need to ensure that you're kind of, you know what I mean, just getting into the groove of playing Free Fire again, right? So for me, I play slow. I will do that almost the first drop, make sure that, you know, I'm not going into those heavy drop areas, just kind of make sure that I just survive. I want to survive just to see how the other teams are really playing it today. But again, we'll see. Maybe the other teams are like, you know, screw it. I'm just going to go all out aggressive. I want to just get as many kills as possible. Well, we're going to have to find out and see. But for me, I play very passively. I play possum.
You play possum. All right. So I'm guessing for you, it's more of a game 2 thing.
Yes.
Right? So it's like after you're warmed up from game 1, then game 2, you have the fire in your bones, then you might try and pull it off.
Definitely. And I don't know. I mean, how would you play it? Well, like, what is your style?
I feel like sometimes you just have to switch it up. You have to change things because people fall into, once you feel comfortable, I feel like that holds you back. So at times you just have to say, okay guys, screw it, we got to YOLO. We got to try something different, because you can surprise people with that different kind of play style. Because most of the time on Kalahari, you're not expecting people to rush you. You're expecting it to be just a nice, quiet day. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining, and your team is just casually looting. You don't really get that action until the 3rd or 4th circle. So maybe you can surprise somebody with this.
And I think that goes to the fireworks in terms of the late game, right? When you're able to loot, make sure you get all those utility. And we've seen more and more grenades just being used. The grenade launchers are very important. Throwing it off trees is definitely something that we've seen is the new meta, apparently. So they need to be very careful. But it looks like the first match is going to be ready. We're going to go into Group A versus Group B. It's going to be Kalahari, AJ, and Husky. Take it away.
Thank you very much to our host, Holo and Denali, once more. Yes, beautiful Sunday. And I would say yesterday was a very great day. Today looks to be better. I have been spending a lot of time watching videos of how people make candy, how people make chocolate rice cakes. And I'm looking forward to the game as well. So a lot of things on my mind. But how are you feeling, AJ?
Interesting watch list that you have there, Husky. I probably might check it out as well. I mean, I love watching cooking shows, right? But I've tried to stay away from it because, you know, I just can't stop eating, man. Here's the thing. I am super excited, but nervous as well. Now, I've been super critical of Fastkill MY only because I know exactly what they're capable of, but we don't seem to be seeing the consistency from them. Yesterday, surprisingly, Husky, they bagged 2 booyahs for themselves, and I am excited to see them continue that role on today as well. If they don't, I'm going to be a sad, sad boy, my friend.
Yes, so far they have been showing a lot of promises, you know, in 6th place, 2 more points until they joined the 200-point club. I know I think Do Easy, a team that has been on the watch list for a while, they have not made it to the top 12 just yet, but they are not that far away, just 14 points behind Bloody Hit. They can easily make up for it. I would dare say that judging by the performance yesterday itself, I feel like Do Easy probably has a better chance than Bloody Hit to make it in the top 12 by the end of this Sunday. But we'll see what happens. It's Kalahari after all. And when it comes to Kalahari, my eyes are always on the team that knows how to play the high ground. And I think the teams, Wheels and Blacklist International, they're not playing in the lobby just yet. So this is a good chance for all the other teams to really show us what they're all about, especially Bloody Hit. They love Kalahari, but the love has not been translated into, too amazing of a performance.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And similar situation for Fastkill MY as well. They're not going to be playing in this matchup. So, they get to just warm up by watching the mistakes of others. For example, Argon MY as well as Edic Max, both heading into Oldhampton. They clearly can see each other. But once again, perhaps ego is going to get in the way here. They're going to be fighting for those loots. I can see Edic Max pulling away from this battle just a little bit. And that is the best decision they can pull in here for themselves. Umbrella, on the other hand, they get into a fight as well. Zet, one squad, 0 to hero. Time Turner popped out so fast by iPans, and he will not be able to absorb any one of those other shots. The vantage point here by Umbrella Reborn, are they going to be able to take this early engagement and pick up those 4 points? This is one of those underdog squads that have been so consistent. They haven't been doing great in terms of picking up the top 3 spots, but consistency is key, and they seem to be getting into their stride, Husky.
Yeah, just ever so slightly, right? As Levitz, he's gonna down Era and iPads. We found out once more, and it seems like whatever you said about Zep early on might just come true. They just got that 4 points. Umbrella Reborn did not stand a chance. And it feels like, this has been a trend from week number 1, where Group A, it feels like they just hate each other. They always drop at the same spot on Kalahari. Especially Enigmax and Argon and Y. For some reason, these guys share all the same drop spot. And
and
it gets me wondering, right? Was there a point where these guys just look at the previous game and think to themselves, maybe we should make some changes? So far, not much.
Yeah, I think they are watching those previous games, and they're doing this intentionally, right? Because they feel like maybe this is a fight that they can take on. But, we've seen those situations pan out in the past, Husky. Early engagements always fall into a 50-50. I mean, the gods of RNG, they have to be on your side. The loot needs to be absolutely solid. You go in there and you get the sort of guns that you cannot take some of these engagements. It's probably going to be game over for you right now. Enigmax moving away from AKO might come across do easy. Very beautiful setup by Z Squad earlier on. We didn't really talk about that backstab, but that was one of the most perfect plays that I have seen in quite a while for Free Fire, Husky.
Yeah, I think for Umbrella Reborn, they definitely did not know that Z Squad snuck one guy into their ranks. It doesn't help where you just drop, you did not have any utilities, and you get knocked down, right? Because you would just be brought back up with a slit of health. AKO, though, they are, kind of challenging Enigmax. In fact, I feel like Enigmax, they're pretty spread out. It gets a lot of ground covered, and sometimes this is what you want to see on Kalahari. But AKO, they have a compound to work with. I don't think they're too worried. Though we are seeing them being really aggressive with those shots.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you won't know exactly which team you are, taking these shots against until either you knock one of them or one of your players gets knocked. A similar situation breaking down for ITX. They know Argon MY is the sort of team that they should be able to take on and potentially snuff out as well. Hopefully Enigmax sees a situation, gets that information early on, and understands that AKO is not to be trifled with, and they back away, man. They cannot take these risky early engagements. They are literally at the bottom of the board. Pedro getting taken down by Zapnu. ITX putting up a great fight in here, and Argon MY, they need to figure out exactly what they can do. Oh, straight in to the Time Turner, and they snuff Pedro out of the equation. And now Argon MY, they are all around. They should be able to pull this flank, and shot gets dropped. The Time Turner is not going to be popped out, but the glue wall will be able to provide him a little bit of cover. Argon MY now running with the tails between their legs, and they pay a heavy price. Once you know it is a squad that is more supreme than you in terms of mechanical capabilities, Husky, the best decision at that point would be to run. Argon MY, they kind of brought that up onto themselves.
Yeah, just again, this tactical intact, the team that has been stepping up a bit more than Argon MY, showing once more why they are the stronger team in that sense. We saw Argon MY had a decent showing, I think, in week 2, and I believe that was day 3. But Argon MY, they actually didn't do too bad. They had decent runs that day, and we all thought that, okay, maybe Argon MY finally found the stride, but apparently it was just for that one day, and afterwards they kept sharing drop spot, they kept losing early fights. You look at most of their points, Argon MY, almost 50% of the points that they have comes from the placements alone. 65 placement points and only 37 kill points. So it really says a lot about Argon. 58 placement points and 46 kill points. But either way, it really says a lot about this team, where they either end up not winning anything, or they end up winning the first fight, or they just end up losing 3 guys and having to play for placements. It feels like a coin flip for Oregon MY.
Yeah, this is a great compound to hold for Bloody Heads. Let's see if or not they can turn things around against Freedom Rumble, who will be able to come in and ask some questions. Monte, getting that high ground for himself, should be able to be the spotter for the squad of Bloody Heads. He pulls out the time turner a little bit early, which means Freedom Rumble has already spotted his location. Now, this is not the kind of space that you want to be holding on to, especially if your opponents are capable of making that aggressive push and dropping in a couple of nades right on your heads. Now, Freedom Rumble, they have got a vehicle on them, so getting away from this situation shouldn't be all that too much of an issue. Mauta gets knocked down, and unfortunate for him, he should have found that cover a little bit earlier, Husky.
Yeah, he did make the good call to, to find another spot, but it was just unfortunate that he eventually got knocked on the way to his new shelter. I believe they should be able to bring him back up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there we go. So he's back up. He's gonna be healed up. Bloody Head, they love command posts a lot. They always try to make their stand here. I remember last week we did see this one match where they kind of gave away command posts and it resulted in them getting knocked out. And I think they've kind of at least worked on that, right? We haven't seen Freedom Rumble pushed in, so Bloody Head, they don't feel too pressured. And I hope it stays this way. Judging by how the circle is, Freedom Rumble will have to face off Bloody Head, which means that Bloody Head just has to hold this compound and make the best out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And now if Freedom Rumble goes in for the flank from the right-hand side, they might just run into Do Easy. Now we'll switch on our attention to Cannot Brain as well as PXG. Insanity right below Guns, but he's not going to go in here for those aggressive pushes. Arens backs away, and it looks like PXG might come in and ask a couple of tough questions. Beautiful nade dropped in by Tanamo. Taking down one. Beautiful as he goes in for the delete as well. XBR, Cannot Brain. They cannot brain exactly how PXG moved in so quick into their compound and snuffed them out back into the lobby. And as for PXG, what very pretty 4 points they get through those kills.
Yeah, I know this would not make much of a difference, but I was wondering what was Guns doing. He just ran into 2 guys of PXG. I mean, very ambitious, but clearly it did not pay off in that scenario. So 3 teams are already out. But this, like you say, Do Easy, they are nearby, and it seems like they're taking on this AKO Legend, and that is what Bloody Head want. Not being involved in these fights. Bloody Head, they're just gonna move farther and farther away and let AKO Legends and Do Easy take themselves out. Dayco's is gonna be bombed by AKO Legends, but by Do Easy, excuse me. But yeah, Do Easy, they are not really pushing the issue just yet. In fact, AKO Legend, they are trying to put themselves in on the perimeter of this compound, but Do Easy so far feeling pretty safe, and AKO, they will have some time to kind of regroup themselves.
I love exactly what Bloody Heads did. They were like, it's getting a little crowded in here. We need to maintain social distancing. They bounce out of there instantaneously. Now, AKO taking, I wouldn't say one of the toughest fights of their life. Do Easy found that stride within the MCP Major Season 2 just yet. And they back away. That's exactly what we love seeing, Husky. No early engagements. It looks a little bit too much to handle. Back away out of there and try to take a better fight in that final circle. Now SAF taking those shots up against Zed. Zed already has got 4 points in the bag, but going up against SAF, and they don't really have much of a compound here. They have to expand each and every single one of those glue walls. McRory taking those shots, pops his time turner as well. Beautiful nade down. Monarch gets caught off guard, and that bounce off of the tree was absolute perfection from McRory. And SAF continuing to go in here for the push. Zeth, I don't know what they can bring on, but they've dropped. Let's go. Oh, goodness me. And they delete. Let's go as well. Zeth, they bring the fight, Husky.
Yeah, but Type 64 is gonna get knocked by SAF. It feels like at the end of the day, despite losing Let's Go, SAF should have a better chance. Everyone is racing against that blue zone, and SAF, they're taking full advantage of it. Only one member left for Zep Squad, who is still alive and kicking, and that is just not enough. He might survive, but the rest of his team, they're all dead. SAF will get at least 3 points by the end of this. That one casualty is a small price to pay for what they got in return. But again, I mean, this is the second time we see the deflection of a grenade off a tree trunk. These teams are getting really creative, and this just makes me more excited, right? There's so many things you can do with Free Fire. I doubt anyone thought of that until yesterday. SAF, they showed us that it is workable if you just try. But too easy. It seems like Destiny, is a very funny mistress because somehow they are back in the same spot again, having to take on AKO Legends eventually with Bloody Head right beside them.
Now, Bloody Heads, the compound that they hold on to pretty much in the open. The guys need to make sure that they don't get caught off guard. A beautiful situation that can unfold for Bloody Heads is if AKO sniffs out Do Easy and instead turns their attention over to them to pick those kill points up. Now, Do Easy can potentially do something similar as well. As Auto Knockout focuses on Bloody Heads later on, maybe they can go in for that backstab and take them out. But based on that mini-map there, ladies, Jabba boys and girls, as you can see, two players from the side of Auto Knockout might be pulling a flank off here. We will be catching up with them in a little bit. Let's take a quick look at Enigmax, the team that moved away from Auto Knockout earlier on in that match. I'm so glad they chose to do that, Husky, because look at them, man, alive and kicking still in here. They should be able to potentially get to that final zone now. SAF, they don't look as strong. One man down. PXG now. Freedom Rumble. One guy just flew right into their crowd. They might get snuffed out a little bit too quick here as they try to pull him back. Drags get knocked down. Insanity should be able to go in for the delete as well. And the rest of the Freedom Rumble players will not be looking to step up because there's just no saving Drags anymore. Freedom Rumble, what's their call? Apam on the ground as well. Oh, Do Easy off the screen after getting taken down. Bloody Heads goes in. Absolutely annihilates Do Easy.
Wow, Raymia with a double nade as well. Just great accuracy from PXG Radicals. And so far, it seems like teams that we want to step up has been stepping up. But, eventually you have to fight against the Kings and Bloody Head. They now have SAF on their radar. And SAF, they have control of the circle. So Bloody Head will have to run towards them as Rasto from AKO Legends will finish off the remnants of Zep's squad down to the last 7 teams. SAF, they did lose Let's Go early on to Zeth, but we know how strong SAF are. They can lose one guy, but they are still strong as ever as Tactical Intex. They're going to run into Enigmax. Soldier is already out. That's going to give Tactical Intex an extra kill.
Yeah, this is what I love about Auto Knockout, man. They know exactly how to get into the next zone. The plotting of their path is almost always perfect. Main reason as to why they are in the top 3, right? They sit down at that second position so far, ladies, German boys and girls, but they are 76 points behind those that lead the board. SAF, and now Enigmax getting taken down one by one. Slumber! And it is ITX that snuffs them out. And now Bloody Heads getting rushed through. It's going to be Auto Knockout. Maute gets knocked down onto the ground. And now ZJ joins him as well. Mark and Morgana, can they come in here for that backup? He does have the shotgun in hand, goes in for the flush, but Morgana gets taken down as well, leaving just Mark all alone in here. Is it going to be a lonely push for this guy as he manages to get a delete on a player as well? Auto Knockout. I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but now ITX should be able to finish the Bloody Heads off.
Oh, and it's going to be SAF against PXG. One of the most anticipated showdown is David versus Goliath happening right here in ITX. They know about this, and we know one thing about ITX. They are very patient. They wait for this third party, and they found McCrory. ITX finally pops that hit in, and this might be the best timing because they're helping up PXG. Nate coming through. It's not going to connect onto anyone just yet. ITX slowly inching forward. They know where Damon is. His back is turned, and Zipman will immediately take advantage of that, taking out SAF. PXG now feeling threatened. The nades are coming through. The glue was being propped out as Trick's gonna take out Barba. Oh, PXG, they're getting swarmed, they're getting overwhelmed, and it's all ITX. They're doing it with just 3 guys. Zimro finally goes down as Ramiao puts a stop to what Tactical Intex wants to do, and that's gonna put PXG in that final showdown with 11 kills, but they still have Bloody Head to go through, and as I say that, Barba will finish the job. PXG Radicals with the first booyah of the day.
I love Bloody Head stepping it up, but of course PXG, it's been a while and they obviously are climbing up the leaderboards, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Just with this performance alone, they should be more than good enough to take over that number 1 spot. But Auto Knockout in their own right, they did quite well as well. Most Dope, Bohemia, Nanamo, as well as Gang, they picked the booyah up for themselves and they start this day absolutely well, Aski.
And just what a performance from almost all of the teams that are on our spotlight, right? We had PXG Radicals with AKO, of course, SAF. We talked a bit about, I believe, Tactical Intax. They also showed up huge with how they played. Sure, they didn't get a booyah, they got knocked out in third place, but they got a lot of kills along the way. And I'm pretty sure our hosts will be delighted with this first game. Let's bring them back, Daniely and Holler, see what they have to say about our very first game in a bit.
in a bit. There you go. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you. Wow. That's it.
No. I mean, I called it, right? Tactical Intex was on the hype. I mean, they were on the upward trajectory. Yeah. They went in, right? ZPNU with 5 kills, Seok with 4 himself. And even when there was 3 teams left and there was that mad dash in the middle, they were like, we don't care. We're just going in. I don't care what place I am. I'm just going to go for as many kills as possible. And yes, they got eliminated third, but man, I love their aggression. This is This is a fun team to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Bloody heads, Danny. They didn't get the booyah, but they managed to get into that final zone. They're finally stepping it up. But not as great as Fast Kill, but the inconsistency still is there, isn't it?
I mean, the inconsistency is still there, but I do feel that Bloody Heads, they are slowly improving over the course of the weeks, right? And you have to show improvement at some point, and I'm a bit worried that it might be a bit too late. But if they can really pick it up, maybe they can try and grab some monster points towards the end of the season, then we could maybe see them rocket back up. We kind of saw that last season, so it's a possibility. But I am actually really, really impressed with the pathing that Bloody Heads takes now. They're very cautious. They don't go into... I think this was something that they fell into at the beginning of the season. They often thought that they had to skirmish teams early. Whereas they didn't. They could back out, but they had to be a little bit careful with how they decided to back out. They made those mistakes. They analyzed it well, and I feel that the team is really developing into a top contender. I feel like Bloody Heads, they're going to be a team that you're going to have to watch out for the season, because they could nab that 12th spot. There's a possibility.
Absolutely. And speaking of backing away from battles, Husky, I think that was one of the very first times we actually saw Enigmax making one of the best decisions out there on the battlefield, right? To not get involved in a gunfight with auto knockout.
In fact, not just Enigmax, a lot of teams are making very rational decisions, right? Instead of taking their foes head on, we saw Bloody Head backed off from command post. We saw, I think, Do Easy, avoiding AKO Legends. Of course, Enigmax doing the same. They all had to eventually meet towards the end, but it's better than just taking a fight without being fully prepared. Right? I'm loving what these teams are doing. I hope to see more of that, and I think that's why Do Easy eventually going out in kind of the middle pack. But I feel like based on all the decision making, Do Easy will have a way better chance in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The nades, Holler, the nades have just caught on and they are just popping off left, right, center, man. Look at that. As I say that, there's a delete coming through as well. For the teams that are not using those nades, though, do you think they will still be able to continue the run? Because whoever who does pick up those Kobe plays seem to be getting a lot of the momentum shifted through their side immediately, Holler.
You're right, absolutely right. McCrory, from SAF, he threw an awesome one. He had a Kobe one right off the tree, and he's bouncing it off and totally next leveling that one. 200 IQ, if you will. PXG Radicals, you saw Ramiel just kind of throwing it in, but it looks like the top teams are realizing that, hey, we can't barrel down these glue walls. I'm going to just toss it over you and just make sure that I just kill everybody. No place is safe from us. We're going to get you. And every team really needs to just pick up their grenade throwing abilities.
That's true. Now, taking a look at our standings for our first match of the day, PXG Radical is going to be sitting on a whopping 24-point finish, 12 kills, 12 placement points. I think this is just a perfect way to start the day for PXG Radicals. If anything, I'm hoping this might be the climb to potentially steal away their first place from Supreme Assault Forces. I mean, the journey is still long, but if PXG, if they keep playing like this and SAF, they don't get too many booyahs in the process, I think it is possible that we could be looking at a new leader on the leaderboard.
It definitely feels so. I think for at least SAF, well, not the best start, only 11 points, but for PXG Radicals and ITX, these two are looking great. I think Tactical Intax have been not just showing us that they are good in 1 or 2 rounds, but they're showing us that they are good for a week or two. And so far, the upward trajectory is still there for ITX. I think Holler made a really good judgment based off of their previous performance. They are now in 8th place. So you look at the history of Tactical Intex. The journey has been consistently upwards. We haven't seen Tactical Intex kind of take a dip in the standings just yet. Obviously, it's not going to get any easier. You have teams like Wills, Fastkill, M1, and Forestman Expert. But in terms of climbing the hierarchy, I think Tactical Intex is going to be that next contender.
And it seems like Supreme Assault Forces, they just had such a monster, first 4 days of this league that their numbers are so high that it's very hard to keep that pace going, right? And so, I mean, they were averaging about 60 points a day. At this point, I mean, with the 11 points they got, they're probably going to average about 40 or so, considering there's 4 matches to play. So it seems like, there's a little bit of a drop-off, but let's be honest here. Like, 40 points is still above the curve, right? This is a team that, and that pace was almost, you can't keep that going. That's just impossible. Other teams are going to pick up on that. And SAF has kind of dropped because of that. So we're thinking, oh, why are they doing so poorly or whatever? It's like, no. SAF are still doing well. Let's not get carried away here. It just happens to be that they can't hit that ultra peak that they were at.
And that's going to be a problem for the grand finals. I mean, as SAF started off strong and seems to be trailing a little bit off, the other teams, man, for example, like Tactical Intex, Metrics, they are stepping it up week after week and making it into the grand finals. A team like SAF, they've got a lot to worry about, Danny.
They do. And actually, during the interview as well that we had for them during the tea time, make sure you watch that, because we do get some insights from the players. SAF actually feel that Kalahari is their weakest map. So maybe this case, it was just a case of the map being Kalahari, the team not being very confident on the map. But who knows? Maybe it was just a case of bad luck, bad positioning, the team's gunning down for them. It's Purgatory, so we could still see the potential for SAF to just go on a normal day of SAF, Booyah, kills, the whole lot. Just sweep them, just sweep the whole competition away.
All right, so it looks like match 2 is going to be ready. The players have loaded in. Husky, AJ, take it away for match 2.
Thank you very much, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this time the flight path cutting through Crossroads all the way down towards Forge, leaning a little bit towards the side of Moat House and Fire Brigade Central. Those are the locations that are going to be a little bit inaccessible from the startup itself. Do easy. They found a great spot for themselves, but I don't know how amazing it's going to be a little bit later on. Enigmax, once again, like you pointed out, Husky, they love sticking by on a knockout.
It's either that or Argon MY. For some reason, I feel like Enigmax, Enigmax is like that, that relative, like that cousin, right? Like they just would not leave you alone. Like you hate the person. One? Yeah, the annoying one. Like you like sometimes you just want a peace of mind, you just want to do your own thing, and he just comes at you. Z Squad running into bloody hit this time. The first game they ran into Umbrella Reborn, they won that, but Bloody Hit is going to prove to be a different contender. Wow. As I say, Umbrella Reborn, they actually took out Cannot Brain alongside SAF. So Cannot Brain, they are in a horrible spot. In fact, they are playing this 2-2 split, and I guess it didn't really pan out the way they wanted it to be. Now, Cannot Brain only left with 2 guys. SAF gets 1 point, Umbrella Reborn gets another, and Error might have just made one himself, because you don't really want to challenge SAF like that. So they are going to make the calls back off, settle for that first split.
Oh, beautiful shots coming through from McRory. I mean, they're so far away, but SAF, they should be able to pull a pinch takedown here onto these players. Now, Umbrella Reborn, Error, Grizzly, as well as Zay, they need to find exactly how they can back away from this situation, right? I mean, taking those shots against Do Easy, early points picked up, but it's going to pretty much end up being nothing if they get taken down by SAF so early on. And they barely have loots on them to go in and take this fight head on. SAF, such easy kill points from the start of this lobby. They are quite annoyed with how the previous game went, I believe, Husky.
And I do agree with the fact that, SAF saying that,
wow!
Okay, I was about
Come on, bro.
I was about to say, yeah, I agree that SAF's weakest match is Kalahari, and well, I feel like that's definitely something that is very subtle. But I think the overall stats, if you look at the 3 maps combined, Kalahari is definitely not the playground for SAF. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, there are 3 maps. If
Yeah.
you're strong in every map, then you're just way too strong, you know? So
Yeah.
you know, there has to be, I mean, you know, in terms of the balance of things, if you're weak on one map, it's fine. But SAF, they have 5 points to start off the day, and not the day, but the round. So what better way to kind of compensate for the loss on Kalahari with that opening?
Yeah, absolutely, man. What an opener, right? That was one of the nades of perfection dropping in by McRory. Do Easy backing away from this compound. They need to get away as far as possible as Freedom Rumble makes their approach. Do Easy, this is one of those squads that are struggling to find their pace to get into the top 12. It's a little tough because Bloody Heads, every single time Do Easy makes a play for themselves, you can see Bloody Heads doing slightly better, Husky. And even in the earlier round, the placement points that Bloody Heads bagged for themselves, Do Easy is not going to be too happy about that at all. And now they have got this compound, but a very huge problem with themselves as well. Freedom Rumble will come knocking shortly.
Yeah, and if you are Bloody Head, you want to extend the lead between 12th and 13th place to make sure that you are the gatekeeper of the 12th place and no one can break through. So you guarantee yourself to qualify for the grand finals, and you also guarantee that no one can catch up. And I think that is going to be the difference maker between Bloody Head staying in top 12 and Bloody Head dropping out of top 12. And so far, based off of game number 1, Do Easy's job of qualifying to the grand finals just got a lot harder because of how good Bloody Head was to start off the Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when they started off the day, I believe Do Easy had about 14 to 15 points to catch up, and now they're about 26 points. And Bloody Heads this needs to focus on extending this lead and making sure the rest of those players below them do not catch up, right? And the only way you can guarantee yourself a situation like that is if you don't focus on how they play it, but just focus on your survivability getting into that final zone. Those placement points definitely going to do them a lot of favors. A couple of kills in that final zone is most definitely going to be putting a few sandbag points into their pocket as well. Now Vegeta getting shot at by Bayet Shah on the ground. Freedom Rumble off with the opener, and they should be finding the delete onto Shah ever so close now because they are coming in with that aggressive approach. Ipan gets dropped as well. Jambal as well as Bayet's. Bayet's popping out the glue wall for himself. I'm not so sure why he wants to block off all of the entries in here, but as he tries to run away, he uses more of those glue walls. I don't know his ideation here, Husky.
I feel like that's just very unlucky, right? Got caught by Cannot Brain. I mean, Cannot Brain, they are so far apart. You have Arvin on once in a war zone. Yeah, he's gonna get a bite and he will get out of this. I mean, good for him. You know, he was able to get a kill. And he was also able to mess up Do Easy. And I think Do Easy is definitely the biggest loser in that scenario. I believe they did, got a nade knock on one of the members of Freedom Rumble, but it was not a confirmed kill. So for Freedom Rumble, yeah, they are fine with that. Upham gets brought back up. Do Easy completely stuck in this particular scenario. They did bring Shah, back to on his feet, but they did suffer a casualty nonetheless.
You can see the nades here in the artillery of Apam. He should be able to go in here and ask a couple of questions, but Freedom Rumble playing it safe, wanting to see exactly what Do Easy pulls off first. And now Nate being cooked up, popped up straight up in here to ask questions of Apam, who backs away. Drax trying to pull the flank from afar. He should be able to catch the players of Do Easy off guard, but he needs to travel a little bit more. And if he starts now, I believe Do Easy won't even see that coming. Jumping over to Argon MY, 0 kills in here so far. Very, very beautiful vehicle as they continue moving in. I love the play. They find those vehicles for themselves and they try to find these great positions, but we've seen the weakness of this play in the past as well, Husky. When you're traveling through those open grounds, if your vehicle gets set onto fire, you're good as dead, my friend.
And Pedro, he is about to run into a welcome party, so he knows that Zep Squad is there, but I'm not sure if you want to stop here, buddy. It's Do Easy compound, and no, not there either. It's Freedom Rumble, and they're gonna reconnect with the rest of the team, and they are gonna end up in Andy Max's compound. So this is the 4th pit stop. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay, he's getting away with too much. Like
Lord.
Spark is gone. I mean, Argon and Y, at least they know who is, which team is where. But yeah, you gotta make a bit of sacrifices along the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You go in for a silly play like that, you deserve to get taken down, right? What do you expect to get out of that? It was just bad luck all around. In a map like this, you're not going to have a lot of space, and they don't find a compound to secure for themselves. I believe, I don't even know what they were hunting for. Were they even hunting for kills? Because it just didn't look like they wanted to take those aggressive fights. Bloody Heads now taking on SAF straight forward. ZJ needs to back away. Nate now popping in. Beautiful glue wall gets brought up, and ZJ will still survive for the time being. Double glue walls now. McRory coming in for the flush. Beautiful jump up. McRory might get caught off guard. ZJ goes back in for the shots, but from the back gets knocked down by Let's Go. What a beautiful flank being pulled off here by the players of SAF. McRory now on the ground. Can Morte punish SAF for taking this fight up against them? McRory, the MVP, gets taken out of the equation, and therefore Bloody Heads, they have already affected this lobby so much. We jump on over to Argon MY, who are taking on Enigmax. Slumber as well as V2 down on the ground. Pedro, the final guy, and he gets snuffed out. Argon MY. Let's see exactly what else they have in here. Enigmax, V2 as well as Lonesome topping their health right back up. And Freedom Rumble coming in to ask those questions. Beautiful nades dropped into this house should be more than enough to kick this battle off. Let's see exactly how Freedom Rumble approaches this situation, Aske.
Yeah, and Enigmax, they don't have much time to recuperate, so they are forced to fight. Dooeasy, on the other hand, they have avoided Freedom Rumble, but they run into a bigger predator. It's going to be PXG Radicals. So coming into this compound, they also have Z Squad on the other side. So this is going to be a 3-way fight. PXG Radicals kind of having both ends covered, playing a 3-1 split. But for Dooeasy, they have not had much room to work with. If you look at the utilities on Baez, he only has one glue wall, and I think it's almost the same for the rest of his team. So Dooeasy, they are in for a very tough fight.
Let's see exactly what they can pull off in here, because PXG, I don't know if this was intentional, because they have a one-man flank here, and if they're just going up against one squad, that's the perfect situation to put yourselves in. But if you're going up against two different teams, Tanamo is going to be in a lot of trouble. And it looks like Shah has managed to catch wind of him. Enigmax taking this fight up. Freedom Rumble finally comes in for the snuff. Slumber as well as Lonesome down on the ground. V2 down and out as well. Soldier, the only thing this guy can do is run, but he runs straight towards Freedom Rumble. Is he going to be able to pop the nade? No, the guy doesn't pop the nade. Oh, Lord. He wants to play placement points, and I wish him all the best.
He was actually thinking about it. I like that idea. Yeah. He was actually thinking about it. Yeah, but I understand the idea, right? If he threw that nade and didn't kill anyone, he's gonna get hunted down. So I might as well just run away and play for the placement points. It is too early to get eliminated. Still 10 teams left. You don't want to close the round with 0 placement points. Dooeasy, while still alive throughout all of that, as Enigmax, we saw Soldier, he is gonna run away, but he might just run into Dooeasy, and I'm not sure if that is the path that he wants to take.
Now let's see exactly what... I'm still waiting to figure out exactly what play PXG is going to pull off here, because Tanamo, once again, is in a very sticky situation, pulled away too far. And now without Tanamo, if Auto Knockout comes in here to ask some questions of PXG, it's just going to be a numbers game that Auto Knockout will be able to win hands down, and then Tanamo is going to get caught off guard, right? So this is just a situation which PXG needs to figure out exactly how they can overcome. They can either take out Z Squad or Dooeasy. Either way, either fight they choose to go in for, they have to win it in order to, just reach Tanamo and pull him back into a 4-man squad. Being split up on the field like this, it's not going to do them any favors whatsoever. But the saving grace here is Husky. Everybody is in a stalemate position, and they do not want to move out of their compound. They don't have to. The zone hasn't forced them out just yet.
Yeah, and if you are, if you are any team other than SAF, I think you will feel pretty fine with things so far. I mean, SAF, they are only down to, I believe, one guy, thanks to Bloody Head, who played an amazing fight. I believe Morgana was the first one to get knocked, and he didn't even know where Forbis was when he got taken out. But the rest of Bloody Head really stepped up the game, and because of that, SAF, they're not able to play this very oppressive gameplay, and that's going to give room to all these other teams. Look at that. Forbius was the only guy who was not spotted by Bloody Hit, and he's not the only survivor. So SAF, we can be sure that for the second round, they're not going to have those explosive rounds. But if they can get, again, more than 10 points per round, I think they're happy with it. Just go for the average results.
Because, each and every single point that you pick, SAF is not playing for that number one spot, man. They're just playing to make sure PXG does not catch up ever so easily, right? Auto knockout, similar situation as well. Both of these teams are 71 and 75 points away. And with each and every single round that SAF does not do great in, it is their opportunity. We've talked about this before. Every time you jump up one rank from, I believe, the 6th position onwards, you get an additional 200 US dollars, Husky. Nobody says no to an extra 200 USD.
Yeah, nobody says no to extra money.
Oi, nice angle.
Oh, this one, Mark. Yeah, I think AKO Legends know where Bloody Hit is, but good for Bloody Hit, at least for now, before this next circle forms. So if the next circle forms on the low ground, Bloody Hit will have a very tough time, getting into that safe zone, because that is basically high ground. You can't jump down. You're gonna die instantly. So Bloody Hit, they need to start planning where they want to go when the next circle forms, because there's not too much time for them to do so. Cannot Brain, they're about to run into Do Easy as Freedom Rumble. They are listening to all of this commotion, and they see it. It's going to be RN getting off of his bike. Do Easy. In fact, Do Easy, they are backing off. They don't want to take this stance that is too aggressive. So RN will have time to recuperate. He has those nades. He's looking for a couple of knocks. That nade's gonna bounce off. Tags Jembo. RN not sure if he knows that now he does. Drop the time turner, but Bayer just runs straight into that time turner and kill him inside his dome. That's gonna leave one all alone out in the open, and there's not much space for him to work with. SAF in the meantime dies to the blue zone. 10th place finish for the top team.
And that's exactly what PXG as well as AKO won. XBR Cannot Brain now eliminated by PXG, the squad that is aiming for the number one spot, and it is not too far away from them at all. Danley has already mentioned we are reaching the halfway point of our group stages, which means catching up. And if they can maintain this particular momentum and try and hope and pray that SAF continues on their trajectory of that downward momentum, picking up that number one spot becomes available yet again. SAF, they distinguished themselves. They pulled away from all of the other teams. They had about, a 100 point lead at one point, but it is slowly getting chopped down. And now with the approaches in by PXG, nade after nade, they should be able to secure this house as well as this compound. ITX right in front of them before they can move on into the safe zone. But they have to go in here. Chop Chop is the name of the game, because that zone is slowly approaching from the back. Zapnu, beautiful nade onto Apam, but that's just the opener for the side of ITX, Sasuke.
Yeah, and ITX, we've seen them being really tactical, just like their name, as Jembao is going to eliminate the remnants of Enigmax. Max. ITX getting absolutely rushed, but they are going to take this fight head on. Trix and Shooks, they are both down, courtesy of Freedom Rumble, but ITX, they should be able to get something in return. And in fact, with the help of Zap, Freedom Rumble, they're already out. ITX gets another chance at fighting. Trix and Shooks, they will both be brought back up, and they will have time to regen their health. The circle, not in their favor though. AKO is the only team inside the safe zone, so every other team will have to fight for survival. That squad's going to be next to go out as ITX continue this rush straight into Do Easy, and Do Easy, it seems like they're losing the fight. ITX, they're doing it well, and they're doing it right. ITX getting more kills on the board, and it's going to be at a tally of 5 so far.
Auto knockout off screen. They were able to take down a couple of players from PXG with those nades, but no delete coming through just yet. Barba on the ground. Morgana with the grenade launcher knocks Nga onto the ground. Bloody Heads. Let's see exactly what they will have to bring into this match. They have been stepping it up little by little. I'm a huge fanboy of the Bloody Heads, and I think this might be their round. ITX, Trix as well as Shook, they can go in for the pickup onto Zapnu. Shot is back on his feet, but now they have to play the blue zone. They have to make sure they get in there. But on the way in, PXG will be able to ask these tough questions. Look at Barba. He holds onto his own glue wall, and now he allows the players of ITX to step up front first. Dynamo, Insanity, they go in for the back and back takedown. Dynamo now gets knocked and then deleted by Tricks as well. ITX taking this tough fight against SAF, but they get eliminated because bloody heads get involved. Beautiful shot from the grenade launcher, and now Maute as well as ZJ taken decos. This is a 2-2-2. Let's see exactly who rises up to the top.
Yeah, and bloody head, they're gonna lose ZJ thanks to Insanity. AKO on the low ground. PXG Radicals on the high ground. Insanity, he is not looking too fine. Thank goodness there's a boulder for him to hide behind. Barbara wants to provide that backup, but it's not going to work out, at least for now. AKO Legends so far looking pretty fine, but the circle is about to close in. Everyone will have to kind of bolt for the center. Mo's going to be the first one to make his move with the help of the glue wall, and that's where AKO Decos will try to hold him back. Bloody head, they might be the team to get knocked out next. Mo's going to take a nade in the face. Decos will actually take the kill, and now it's going to be a 2 vs 2. PXG Insanity, can they do it? Is this the second booyah of the day? AKO Legend tanking the blue zone, is closing in. Insanity goes down, Decos still alive, and PXG Radicals will not make it. AKO Legends becomes the second team to get the booyah.
Bro, Decos secured that victory by staying outside of the blue zone. You really need to know your free fire, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You really need to know your blue zone. You really need to know the game to see exactly how much of damage that you can tank. And the perfection of this play coming in here from Auto Knockout is they send one player into the zone and they leave one player outside of the zone. And then the focus, the distraction enabled Decos to pick those kills up. What beautiful plays coming in here from Auto Knockout, and they reach up as well to that #1 spot away from SAF. PXG as well as AKO, they are on fire today, Husky. And SAF, man, this is 2 rounds that they have not aggressed and gotten those great points. They're running out of time here. Let's bring back Danny and Holland to see exactly what they think of that matchup.
Man, AKO and PXG, they are bloodthirsty. They are bloodthirsty for that first place. I mean, we thought originally that SAF was untouchable, but clearly these two teams, they don't see it that way.
It seems like they figured it out, right? They understand kind of how the strategy of SAF and what they've been trying to do. But let me give another shout out. I've been riding this tactical Intex train all day today, but you've seen just how much chaos they provide.
Yes.
They are always in the firefight. They're going balls to the wall, just going at anybody. It doesn't really matter, and they're willing to die for it. And they got, what, I think 7 kills at the end of the time, and you know, being placed for 3rd or 4th or whatever it was. But tactical Intex, just really aggressive team. You got to be careful of these guys. They're madmen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I have to say, I did not expect them to be able to maintain this consistency, Holler. I mean, at the start of the competition, they were a little off point, but they week after week, slowly, Husky, they seem to be stepping it up. And how long can they continue this momentum, right? Because as we can see, teams like SAF, even with their supreme mechanical capability, they cannot keep it up. But what more for tactical Intex? But they seem to be proving otherwise, Husky.
Yeah, and I think Bloody Head is also starting to pull ahead of the curve, right? At least when it comes down to the bottom bracket, I think Bloody Head is continuing to show us that they are improving. They are the one who caused SAF to go out in 10th place. You know, thanks to just, I believe it was ZJ who made the play, but no, overall it's just Bloody Head playing a great game on that map. In fact, I think going back to the topic of tactical Intex, they are doing what Freedom Rumble is already good at doing, but it felt like they added a bit of their own flair and they just do it a bit better than Freedom Rumble, which is why I feel like ITX, they might have just figured out the balance between just going ham and with no regards for your own life, but still able to do it properly without throwing your life away.
Yeah.
And then we're starting to see a lot of these teams really rising today. But then, AJ, I want to ask you, what happened with Umbrella Reborn? Because today just hasn't seemed to be their day, right?
Not every day is Sunday, even if today is Sunday. That's all I can say, right? I mean, you get a day where you are on absolute fire, but sometimes it is just the gods of RNG on your side. Lady Luck wants to smile a little bit more at you, and we saw Umbrella Reborn using all of that string of luck to step it up, right? But unfortunately today, it seems like the gods are just not on their side, Danny. And you know, there's a very easy way easy for me to say. There's a fairly easy way to overcome the lack of luck. You need to bring your strategy in, and Umbrella Reborn just doesn't seem to be doing that. Yesterday when we saw them in action, it was more towards them just winning those gunfights, right? Not purely out of strategy. So maybe if they buff that side up, we should be able to see them sneak into the top 12. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, look at what Bloody Heads is doing. They are on fire to extend their lead.
I'll tell you guys something. Now, at least this is slightly funny to me, but later on, if we look at the bottom 4 teams from 15 to 18, those are the 4 teams that always run into each other when they drop. So like the 4 teams, they just hate each other. So maybe that explains why it's a hit or miss for teams like Umbrella Reborn, because they just have rounds where they hot drop and they either win or they lose. So it really is starting to affect the team's capabilities of getting more points, right? Because you are just playing jackpot at this point. You either get a 777 or you just get 3 jokers and you get knocked out instantly.
Yeah, but
if we're looking at it, it's because Umbrella Reborn has a strategy where they just play very passively, right? They don't look for kills. And in terms of the league, they are the bottom 3 in terms of average kills per day. So this is why they're not going to be consistent. Because placements, if we're looking at it here, you see them all the way at the bottom. Placements can be very lucky. Sometimes you might luck out, as Husky was saying, in terms of just getting those 777s. But you know what I mean? Like when you're not lucky and you're not mechanically sound enough to get those kills, you're going to be on the bottom looking up.
Yeah, that is very true. Now, taking a look at the round standings very quickly as we conclude our match versus A and B. AKO Legends going to be sitting up pretty on top with 12 placement points and 6 skill points. Actually, something to take note with this round was that all the kills were rather spread out across the teams. It wasn't very top heavy. Everyone had a little bit of something to grab, maybe minus Argon MY, unfortunately, but they were the first team to get eliminated. Do you feel like this is just a trend for some maps? Like Purgatory, a lot of the kills get spread out, whereas on Kalahari, it's a little bit more clustered?
I don't think it's a trend, but it's more like it just so happens that that a lot of teams are running into each other, right? I think we had more rounds where we have a top heavy kills, kill distribution at the end than having an even one like what we're seeing right now. For this particular round, I feel like it just so happens that the circle brought everyone together, and it became pretty messy. There's carnage everywhere, which is why we're looking at 6 kills for AKO, 6 kills for PSG, and 7 for tactical Intex. In a normal game of Free Fire, we probably won't see much of that, but you have to give credits to the teams that are stepping up. ITX, Bloody Hit, even to a certain extent, I guess, Do Easy, who are contributing to all of these kills and making sure that teams like SAF are not. No, they're not taking everything for themselves.
Yeah, and to a certain degree as well, right, Danny as well, Holler, a majority of those fights were just not 2-way fights, right? They were getting broken down into 3 ways, and, they were just stealing kills off of each other, and it was just such a messy map. And to a certain degree, the gods of RNG also play a part when you are able to take a lot of these kills for yourself based on your pathing, who you come across. And it just seems like this particular round didn't really favor anyone all that too much.
Well, that round didn't favor anyone. You know what round does favor you? This one, because we've got the codes for your Great Plundered Rosa box. Feel free to, when we do flash that code, you just spread it to your squad mates, your grandma, your dog, anybody who you play Free Fire with. Make sure that they get it so that they get that free skin. It's not first come, first serve, but it's just a matter of, can you redeem it in time by the end of the stream? So we're going to be doing this every single league day at MCP, so feel free to redeem that and make sure you do share the love and understand that, hey, we're just trying to give everybody free skins here.
Actually, Hola, now that you said that, now that explains why I get really bad teammates. I think I'm playing with my cats. Don't play Free Fire with your cats. They will not help you at all. They will probably burden you. Anyways, speaking of my cats, they're going to go have a break, and that also means that we are also going to take a break, because once we return, we're going to jump into our next matchup of the day. It is going to be B versus C. We'll see you after this.
takes let's go down. Spade dropped onto the ground. Jabat goes down as well for X-Men. X-Men not looking great at all.
Teams will be squished in together. Who will take this fight and who will take this booyah?
Thanks to the Almighty on our screen. They're putting up the kill. Shira is down, but Batman, he's running into the center. We plan to smash it. It's public to everyone. Can Almighty do this? He's the last man alive. Almighty turns around, and I think they've done it.
But he does not get the hits onto Batman, and Batman can't even pull those flanks off. Beautiful nade placement coming through from Jembal, but Shira gets taken down, eliminated immediately. Gives me so much of confidence in this team of Enigmax. V2, beautiful nade now being tossed up front. And you know, you did talk about V2 a little bit earlier on in this competition. What crazy plays, man. Manchai might be able to go in for the knock on a couple of players, but if he wants to take advantage, he needs to get the delete as well. Players from the side of Enigmax now coming in for the snuff. V2 with those questions, and Manchai needs to get away, but with the shotgun, is able to bring in so much of challenge.
But let's go gets another snipe, and Goku, he has to spend so much time. That's when they fly through. This might just be it. This might just be the back end of it all for X-Men Expert.
Triple kill. Shut down. Kill.
Survivors, saya perlukan sokongan.
Hello and welcome back to Day 6 of the MCP Major Season 2. My name is Holler and with me is Danny, whose life is apparently run by cats. What have we learned so far from our first two matches, Danny?
Well, I think so far we've learned that we are looking at a potential new king in the bracket. Now, of course, we know that SAF, they're currently leading the charge with over 70 points, but I don't think that really matters to AKO Legends and PXG Radicals. They say, yeah, sure, we're second and third, but we're still here to take that crown. And I think if you're SAF, after seeing that the two teams perform so well in those last two rounds, you've actually got to be really worried about your position. I mean, sure, if they do drop down, they're probably losing 200, maybe even 400 US dollars, but it might be a bit of a kick in the nuts, right, in terms of the mental department, because you've been leading for so long and all of a sudden your competitors catch up. That's got to mess with you mentally.
It's gotta be, but they have such a huge lead. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're playing with their food a little bit, dangling a little bit, you know, here and there, just kind of be like, hey, try to catch up, AKO Legend PXG. Yeah, you were, you know, second and third place, and you're trying to, you know, catch up to us. But SAF, they're like, you know, kings in this, you know, they're basically sitting in their ivory towers, just looking down at everybody else and just being like, hey, who wants to fight for maybe second place? So it seems like they've kind of got a lot of ego, a lot of confidence in that sense. And today tends to be a little bit of an off day, especially with that last match at only 6 points. But the thing is that seeing is that they haven't really scored a lot of points. All of those kills, every other team are just like gobbling them up, so to speak.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to be the same when it come into groups B versus C, which is the next matchup for people that are just tuning in, because we've noticed that also from yesterday, SAF really struggle when they're playing with groups A, but then when it comes to group C, it's not so bad. So is this just a case of SAF maybe not being able to deal with all the teams in Group A? Or honestly, what is just really going on with this team here?
I think the other teams has just kind of picked it up a little bit, right? We've seen Bloody Head, Tactical Index, both of these teams make some tremendous strides today, and it's been very positive. It's good for them in the sense that, hey, we're starting off the day very strong. Now they have a little bit of a break, and then they're going to go in, you know, they're going to be playing later on in the A versus C matchup, but we're going to be going into B versus C here. Supreme Assault Forces, they've got those warm-up matches. Now is the time to start shining. We've seen PXG, they just got the booyah. So this is, you know, and they got second place in the last match. So this is a team that's just ready to play. They're good to go. They want to try to catch up to the Supreme Assault Forces and maybe even overtake the lead of AKO Legend into second place.
But here's the thing though, okay? there's suddenly a new contender in this match. Their name is called Metrics. We saw them blow up yesterday. They could potentially blow up today. They might end up even being one of the top 4 teams going into the finals, assuming that they can maintain their performance from yesterday. Because if you look at Metrics' score, right, they have 3 booyahs to their name, and they are catching up rapidly because during the first half of the season, Metrics really just felt off, right? They were not a team to watch out for. They were very, I hate to say this, they were harmless. Like, you weren't afraid if you were going up against Metrics, but then all of a sudden these guys are baring their fangs, their claws are out, so clearly something happened over the course of those 2 weeks where they were the punching bags, and now everyone else is becoming their punching bag. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if Metrics can really live up to their name and actually take out some of these big dogs.
Yeah, I mean, when you get 2 booyahs, you score the highest points of 56 points yesterday, you're going to have a great time. But Fast Kill Malaysia, they had 51 points themselves, only 1 booyah to their name. So those are the 2 teams to look out for, and that is in Group C. But right now, we're going to go into Group B versus C. It's going to be Kalahari. AJ, Husky, please take it away.
Wow, Metrics in top 4. Okay, that is something that has not crossed my mind, but now that it has been brought to our attention, I'm gonna keep an eye out for Metrics for sure for the rest of the day. Before the group shuffle, AJ, what do you think about this? Do you feel the same, or do you feel like maybe it's too early to put Metrics on that high pedestal?
Top 4 is impossible because they need to get 80 points. Top 5, they need 40 points. Very doable. Very, very doable, right? So not too far off the mark at all. But it falls back down to consistency. We've seen some teams show us a little bit of good plays, and then, in the coming weeks, we see them kind of drop off the radar, right? So if Metrics can perhaps find a way to keep it up, we will by no chance at all fail to see them pick up that number 5 spot. And next week, maybe they will be able to grab onto it, right? Because from the 5th spot to catch up to, for example, Blacklist International, there's like a pure 40 points right there. And the gap between these teams are just so huge when they are in that number 1, 2, 3, and 4th spot, right? Even for Blacklist International to potentially catch up to that number 1 spot, bro, you are looking at about 103 points. So a lot of different fights going to be carrying on out here. And to be able to see Group C, which we kind of touted to be the craziest group at the start of the competition, they will be stepping it up as well, man. Yesterday was the day of the underdogs. Today is going to be the day of those who rule the leaderboard, Sasuke.
It does feel that way, right? PXG Radicals and AKO Legends both got their booyah after, I would say, a pretty long time, right? SAF and PXG Radicals are the only 2 teams who has 5 booyahs, followed by AKO Legends with 4, and everyone else is 3, 2, 1, and none. And I think so far, the only team that has been on that upward trajectory consistently has been Tactical Intex. Metrics feels like the up-and-coming ITX, but we still need to see a bit more from them. Today is the day when Metrics can prove that they have the potential to go further before the group shuffle, and it all starts with Kalahari in this game 3.
Umbrella Reborn, when they were going up against Group C, they managed to pull an average about 7-8 points here for themselves. Let's see if they can, go back into that stride. But as the flight path will bring all of these teams in here, we can see that 2 of these squads will get caught in a gunfight early on. Blacklist International as well as Freedom Rumble. This does not look good because 2 of those Freedom Rumble players, 2 of those Blacklist International players look like they are caught right in between all of those crossfires now. They have to find a way to get out of this situation, Husky.
Poor Freedom Rumble, like I say that, Orin here, he's dead. Gets found by Ajim, and that's a first blood for Blacklist International. Ajim does get taken out by Vegeta, so Freedom Rumble, they did get some payback. But I was about to say, Freedom Rumble, when they play A against B, they don't have to worry about dropping on Kalahari because no one is going to challenge them. But when Group C comes in, the craziest group, Freedom Rumble, they have to approach this differently, right? Because Blacklist International, no strangers to early aggression, no strangers to taking on your invitation as a challenge, and if you shoot them, they're gonna shoot you back. And Manflang is gonna get backstabbed, but thankfully he's not down yet. Time turner being dropped. Drax will do the same. The dome will protect these two individuals, but Freedom Rumble is gonna kind of swarm in. Manflang walks on top of the mine. He's gonna get knocked. Apam needs to bring him back, and he's gonna use the glue wall to provide that cover. But the rest of Black League International, the smell blood in the water, and the Vegeta's gonna go down. Drax will take out Phoenix, but Manflang finds his second kill. Freedom Rumble. This might just be an early exit for them because Apam is the only one left. There's a window for Clanks to go in if he wants to. They're gonna bring Phoenix back up, but Manflang will finish the job, and Freedom Rumble will find freedom no more.
Oh, well played by Blacklist International. Ajim was the first one to get taken down. It was a good trade given the circumstances that they faced early on in this round, right? And to drop one man, it's not going to favor them to get into that final zone and get the booyah, but it is good that they didn't lose more than just Ajim in that fight. And now, Cannot Brain, with the opportunity to maybe take out the top dogs, auto knockout, or will auto knockout just make the players of Cannot Brain into quick pick in terms of food, go in there for those skill points and then continue moving on, right? Off a screen is going to be Embalore who takes Rin OP down, Metrics getting caught in an early fight. I'm curious to see exactly how that is going to fall out, but the way things are breaking out here, I think Cannot Brain might be able to pull off an amazing flank on auto knockout.
Yeah, hopefully so, right? Because I guess not anymore because they started shooting at auto knockout. So now AKO knows where XBR is, and we all know where this is going to go. There is a backstab coming in from Cannot Brain, but they have to make this work out. It has to be flawless, but there's only one guy there. Now they brings in this. Orange is the only guy? What? Why? What? How?
Yeah.
He's
Same
dead.
question, man. Same bloody question, man. Why would you start shooting when your other team members are not in position and ready for the fight just yet? Why would you rush in? I cannot brain that strategy, Husky.
Can you imagine if this was during the times of war and XBR commanded a platoon? Like the poor squires would just lose their lives for no reason, right? Because it's just the chain of command not really synchronized. I think. Yeah. Here's my theory. I think when they shot from the high ground, it was to create distraction, and then they stopped. But when they stopped, Aaron got into position. It's like, guys, like should I do it? It's like, oh crap, I've been spotted. Here goes nothing. Let me just do what I can.
Let me just die.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Let me just die.
I guess I'll die for the motherland.
Because, I mean, Husky, you get into a situation like that, right? You manage to get a knock. That's your best case scenario. How do you even go in for the delete, man? The rest of those players are going to catch you out with the numbers game. Grizzly now taking a very risky fight. Umbrella Reborn. They have their players, Ipens as well as Zay, far away to pull the flank off for the rest of those players. And now Metrics will find themselves the upper ground as well. Ash, they back away behind the foot of this hill, and they should be able to secure a good ground before they continue this battle. Grizzly, smart moves from this guy. He backs away from that very, very risky position he was holding on to, Husky.
Yeah, and thankfully for Metrics, they were able to bring, I believe, Rin OP back up after Ambalori, knocked him down once. But Umbrella Reborn with a great rotation now puts themselves on the high ground. They have the vantage point to deal with Metrics. With the Metrics, they definitely have to run through Umbrella Reborn. They are playing at the edge of the map, so there's not much wiggle room for Metrics. Umbrella Reborn. Let's see what the plan is. It seems like they decide to continue down south into the maze just to give themselves a bit more cover, and I think this is a good choice. You can let Metrics run towards you. You will always have the advantage just because you have some cover to work with.
Let's see exactly what Umbrella Reborn can pull off here and see if or not Metrics are going to be able to maintain the stride that they managed to find yesterday. Ipens, beautiful positioning, pulls the flank plan off here, but he needs to be able to execute that well. But let's see if or not he will be able to do that. We switch on our attention over to the Almighty as they take on Fast Kill MY. Monito backing away in the nick of time to make sure Shira does not take him down just yet. We have been seeing Almighty. Their strats aren't that godly at the moment. There's something still missing in this squad in terms of the ideation, Husky. I mean, usually they get themselves into a great position. They start off those fights, and sometimes we see them aggressing in those fights and they get the advantage. But somehow, somehow they find a way to lose their battle.
Yeah, and Almighty, if you remember the latest scoreboard, Almighty are not looking good at all. In fact, they have replaced Bloody Hit in their top position. Sure, there is a gap between Almighty's points and Do Easy, but if you're Almighty, you would definitely not be happy, right? Being in top place. This is not the reputation that these players have built up for themselves. I'm not saying that Bloody Hit is any less, but just from the repertoire of Almighty alone, people would expect them to be held to a higher regard. And if there's any time to make a difference, this is it. You know, we've been saying this since week number 1, but this has to be it for Almighty.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, for Do Easy to catch up, they just need one proper booyah. 23 points. Doesn't seem too far away at all. They are definitely a squad that is capable of pulling it off. But, you know, thankfully for Almighty, Do Easy just has not found that stride in them just yet. Views, this was one of those squads that have been, very slowly climbing up the ladder in the 8th position in here so far. 5 points away from, jumping up to the next spot. Technically, they need to get one great round, bro. One great round to slot themselves right behind Blacklist International. And I think this might just be that round, Husky.
B versus C is probably the most exciting grouping, at least, to close out the last day, just because most of these teams are within the same bracket. All of them are within touching distance of, overtaking each other based off one good round. So I really want to see, if Blacklist International is going to do it, if Forest Man Expert is going to overtake them, they're 7 points apart. Then you have Fastkill MY, who is also not that far behind, 12 points between them and Blacklist International. There's a lot of competition going on. And so far, we only have Freedom Rumble, who got knocked out. But Freedom Rumble, even after losing this round, they can still catch back up. They're not that far behind.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, let's see if or not Almighty should be, whether they'll be able to knock Manflank off of his bike. Ren seems to be able to find some of these shots, hit marker, but Blacklist International is quickly out of that very, very tough situation. Views, Aoki takes down Rosso X, goes in for the delete as well off a screen, and Team Fastkill, they will pressure Views to make sure they back away. Now, auto knockout, they are in a prime position to pick all of these kills off of Views, and I don't see anybody else in the better position. Look at that. Aoki as well as Limit taken down by Taken, but he hasn't gone in there for the delete just yet. This is what I was saying. They are in that prime position to steal everything away from you.
Oh my goodness, Taken, that's the 3rd nade kill onto Wheels. And you know who is watching all of this happen? Metrics. Metrics on the high ground. Umbrella Rebo comes in. Oh, a kill in a horrible spot. Metrics also under fire. I think someone spotted them out, but Fast Heal MY, them and Metrics, they are the spectators, the front row seat of this conflict. But AKO suffering defeats of their own. This is going to give Will some time to recuperate themselves, get those reset. But we're looking at a potential 5-way fight, AJ.
Yeah, the biggest bird in the sky doesn't look up, man. Auto knockout, unfortunate for them. They thought that they were the aggressors. And Umbrella Reborn into words, maybe Lady Luck smiling at them a little bit, because it's a great position for them to hold on to. And I really, really like what they did there. Instead of going in for the aggressive push on AKO, they back away to find even higher ground for themselves. I think they've managed to spot those shots coming in from the side of Metrics, and they want to make sure they've got a good angle to take that fight up against them. They cannot risk what auto knockout has already gone in here and risked as well as lost for themselves. Beautiful position now they take for themselves to go in for a gunfight against Cannot Brain, but that's going to be a little bit too far for them to continue to pull in here. Glue wall being popped out. They should be able to pressure Nga once again with this higher ground, and Nga is good as dead, but manages to find... Oh, I thought he managed to get away, but Ember Lore from the back snuffs him out. What a play!
Yeah, just too many angles to cover it. Nothing much AKO can do in the situation. Unfortunate. There are way too many teams. If you're claustrophobia, this is very uncomfortable. 10 teams left, but we are in circle number 3. A very rare scenario, but it is Kalahari, right? You expect the game to be slightly slower, and that is where when we get to the later stages, it's going to be pretty chaotic. SAF under fire. It's going to be 4X-Man Expert taking them out. Forbris somehow takes our rival from afar, and that's the watchtower. That's the Overwatch that has been eliminated. Goku with a good
Nice.
nade onto Let's Go to kind of
One
even out
more.
the playing field. But
One
can they
more.
get more? Space with his own nade flying through from above. Doesn't connect onto anyone just yet. SAF will have time to reset, but SAF also needs to be aware of Forestman Expert. Forbid with another snipe. That guy is on the high ground. Forestman Expert, you have to do something about Forbid, because if not, he's gonna start taking out everyone of your team.
Yeah, but now PXG, this is something that 4X-Men Expert did not expect. Forbits now goes in for the knock on to Insanity. Spade as well as Goku, they are still alive and kicking. And this is the part where 4X-Men X can,
Oh, they're
can
trapped.
potentially recover a little bit,
Hey.
whilst Forbits goes in here for the takedown onto PXG. The distraction is what SAF needs. Spade now bringing in his competition right into his time turner, but runs away from it. Daemoon drops Spade out of the equation, goes in for the immediate delete. And Goku now with the time turner still trying to stay alive and kicking. Daemoon with the pressure. Goku, the final player of 4X-Men Expert. Can he stay alive and wait for PXG at least to come in with a little bit more aggression to help him run away from this situation? This does not look good for 4X-Men Expert at all. Blacklist International, on the other hand, they are burning down this umbrella that has been getting all of that luck ever since they stepped in. 4X-Men Expert bows out of this round. Almighty moves in. Umbrella Reborn gets taken out as well. And it looks like Metrics
Oh.
might just be the next ones to check out of here.
Good nade from McGrory. Forbis finally gets sniped. So SAF, they will take some time to bring him back up. PXG Radicals will also have a bit of breathing room. Despite all of the knocks on Forbis early on, PXG still stands strong.
Oh,
but Barbara's
beauty,
taking
man.
out. Good nade from McGrory. He's gonna get flashed, but there's no follow-up. They're gonna have to rush him. A second flash comes in. PXG Radicals, they're losing those members.
Oh.
McGrory runs into the nade. A good one from PXG Radicals. Tana will still get knocked, but the rest of SAF, they've made it there. Raymel has a nade in his hands. Is he gonna land this though? This is gonna be pretty crucial, but he decides otherwise. The nade now a bit delayed and means that SAF will have room to wriggle and move around. The relocation will be there. Fascuman taking on Almighty as Almighty decides to bolt past them and make it into the circle. And this means that FSK themselves will have to make a run for it with Argon and Y on the tails.
Yeah, but now Metrics right there behind them. They should be able to snuff out the players from Team Fast Kill. But Rin now gets dropped by Yun. Are they going to be able to pick Shark right back up? This is Team Fast Kill, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Metrics, those that are still being able to roll all of those momentum into this lobby. And Yun drops Rin. Are we going to be able to see Metrics get the better of Team Fast Kill? Monito down as well. Yun the final player. And Metrics gets eliminated with that grenade launcher, but Fastkill taken out as well, and Balore out of nowhere steps in, sticks his nose into where it doesn't belong and steals that kill away.
And Will's now in top 6. PXG Radicals continues the fight against SAF as Ray Meow will eliminate XBR from the equation. Just one less problem to deal with going into the later stages of the game. Wiz continues to put on the pressure, and we theorize this, right? Maybe A versus B is not SAF's game, but whenever it comes to B versus C, SAF comes online, and maybe this is where SAF will shine like they always do. But they are caught not in the best position though. Everyone is now have to make a boat into the same zone. SAF, they're on the perimeter alongside Blacklist International, but PXG on the other hand is gonna finally find Aoki on wheels. Blacklist will have to deal with SAF, but Blacklist don't have the man advantage. The Blue Zone is gonna push everyone inwards, but SAF just with sure force,
nice.
they're gonna make it in. Wheels, they're out. PXG rushing in as well. This might be the final fight. Forbit gets the knock on the Insanity, and SAF, they might be able to get the first booyah as PXG Radicals, they're out. Almighty next on the list. Daemon goes for the rush as always. They know where Jay-Z is. They see his foot and they will
come
blow his
on.
flames apart as Daemon fights the rush. McRory gets down, but I think SAF might have just gotten this done.
SAF Daemoon just got that kill on technicality, man. Took a shot at his heels, and that's the final takedown. Batman snuffed out from the side of Almighty, and now Blacklist International is the next target. Forbit's taken down. Manflank, beautiful shot, and he gets the kill as well. McRory, I believe, is not going to be able to do much. Manflank needs to be careful. Double nade. Blacklist International eliminated, and it is the one and only SAF Supreme Assault Forces. Get the booyah in here.
Yeah, their rivals got the booyah early on, but SAF returns to extend that lead with a explosive performance. Maybe BNC is their playground. Maybe B versus C is where SAF truly shines, because this booyah definitely felt super dominant. Supreme Assault Forces again leading in the booyah department. 6 booyahs in total so far across almost 6 play days, and that's super impressive from our leader. The lead will still extend. Seems like it's gonna take a while for PXG and AKO to catch up to them, but let's welcome back our host Daniel Lee and Holland, see what they have to say. SAF, they're back on top.
Am I surprised? No. I kind of expected this to happen, to be honest.
Nah, you knew the SAF weren't going to go anywhere, right? Like, you call them out, they're going to be back. They're just a matter of warming up for those first 2 matches, and they played it very, very strong. They had about 7-8 kills or so. Just a monster game by them. Black had a ton of kills themselves, but, Embelor from Moose, this is a guy who does quite well on Kalahari. With his sniper, you got to watch out for this guy, because he's anywhere. He's like a hitman. He will just take you out. I was scared for my own life, and I'm not even in that match.
He's a sneaky one, man. I mean, all about the positioning when it comes to the snipers. They need to make sure they have great angles, and they do not get caught off guard. And with the way Embelore was holding on to his spot earlier on, he had no backup whatsoever. That was a very ballsy move coming in from him. But today just seems to be a full-on day of the top dogs in this competition. SAF, AKO, PXG. Who's going to be next, Holler?
I don't know. That's going to be the good question, right? I mean, we're just seeing all the top teams, just like PXG has been like top tier. SAF just picked it back up after dropping it a little bit. I mean, we're just seeing things around. I mean, even Almighty got in the action with 3rd place themselves. So it's going to be an interesting shakeup in terms of points.
Shocking by Almighty, don't you think, Husky, as well as Danny? I mean, we'll give this to Husky first. I was about to say Almighty was the only team that was a little out of place in that little bit of a mix in that final zone. And thank goodness I didn't say it, because they went on a kill spree right after that.
Yeah, they actually made it in, which to me is a good thing, right? Because at the start of the round, I was like, Almighty, they are in 12th place, and it's a place that they don't want to be in, considering they are under the brand Almighty, right? I mean, the reputation that they have for themselves does not speak 12th place. So that was a good first game. I'm pretty content, but we all know Almighty, they can have one good game, and then the next game they don't perform as much. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Then maybe Almighty, maybe we can give Almighty a bit more credit afterwards.
Danny, what do you think? I mean, is that going to be enough? Because Do Easy's hot on their tails, man. 23 points away. And I think that was a great run from Almighty. But if they don't keep this up, keeping a hold onto that 12th position is going to be quite tough as well. Because, catching up to Bloody Heads isn't going to be easy. They are quite on form. They are not playing in this lobby. They will be back. They've got their own 2 rounds.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that I'm a little bit worried about, right? Because the gaps are getting quite large, especially the ones for teams that are basically trying to stay in that top 12. And we're going to have to use the stats that we've seen so far, right? Like, historically, Almighty are just too unstable. I mean, they have a good round. Yeah, but they have a good round, but then, gosh, I'm not sure if they can do it. I've got to be honest. I love the team. I love the players. I've met them in the past. Wonderful people, but I don't know. I don't know if I can put my faith in that.
I mean, for me, it's just about having it as competitive as possible, right? I want to see to the 12th day of just like 6 teams vying for that 12th spot. Like, I think that it's going to be the most competitive there. The top teams, they're kind of already comfortable and they're just kind of riding the wave, so to speak. But I think in terms of the bottom, if you have that little race, it adds a lot more because it gets super competitive down there.
Yeah, it definitely will be. So I think the last major, we didn't really have that. We only had it for, I think, the 12th to 13th place. That's just one spot. And even then, the gap was pretty huge. So I am definitely hoping for this season to be a bit more competitive, at least down there. But I do share the same sentiment with Daniel Lee. Almighty, I still have my doubts in them. I feel like compared to last season when they were still under the ban of Divinity, this feels like a worse start. Maybe because everyone else is just better. Maybe everyone else improved and Almighty was still stuck in the past. But I think Almighty still they have a lot of work to do. I am very worried for them.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen them pay a lot of attention and put a lot of emphasis on Batman getting these aggressive pushes as well as victories for them. Shira has been shining, but not as bright as he should be, right? So it's going to be very tough for Almighty to keep this stride up because once again, the teams that are at the very bottom, and they are Z Squad, Do Easy, Umbrella Reborn. We're not even going to talk about the final three, but just these three names alone are more than enough of a threat for Almighty to worry about. And then we also have Argon MY as well as Cannot Brain, who have their bouts of stepping it up in those rounds as well, Hustler.
Yeah, if we're looking at the standings now, this is from match 3. We just saw SAF take that booyah there with 10 kills to their name. Blacklist International not too far behind with 9 kills, 9 placement points themselves, 18 right on there. But if you're looking at that from the 22 to the 12, even in third place, 10 points difference just from third place on. I mean, that's just shows you just the power of kills and making sure that you're mechanically sound, making sure that you're able to score those free points, quote unquote.
Right, and then of course we're going to be moving on to our next map in just a minute, but of course the standings, Supreme Assault Forces 22, yada yada yada. I mean, do I need to say too much about this? But I have to say though, I'm a little bit happy here that Blacklist International are still getting points somewhere, because we have seen the team sort of floundering around in the middle of the competition, and then even in some cases just getting absolutely nothing. But I'm just wondering, is this going to be enough for them to keep their spot? Because I feel like if there's a place that is very vulnerable on the leaderboard right now, it is Blacklist International's spot. I think someone could easily take their position on the leaderboard, and I don't know if they could really do too much about it, because the team just hasn't been able to show that consistency, which we keep talking about, but it's what all the top teams currently have, the consistency to rake in those points, to get those placements so that they can guarantee their spot.
Yeah, I think they haven't really recovered from, their little baby Cobra not being able to go in for those aggressive pushes anymore with the double vectors. Ever since that gun, I wouldn't say got nerfed, but, is no longer the superior weapon of choice within the game. Blacklist International just doesn't seem to be anywhere near as dangerous as they used to be, but they're still a huge threat out there on the board, Husky.
Yeah, it's cutting pretty close. I mean, Fastcube and White currently in 5th place, only 20 points away from Blacklist International. You give Blacklist International a bad game and Fastcube and White a good one, you'll see Blacklist International kind of drop further down the leaderboard. I don't think they would have too bad of a ending by the end of the group stage, but you don't want to keep dropping down.
Yeah, you don't want to drop down, because at the end of the day, if you don't have the looks and the cosmetics, so to speak, you will be about down there, right? You're not going to look great. So that said, we're going to do a giveaway here, or it's going to be given away later on. You got to just make sure you pay attention to the stream. It's going to be the Great Plunder Grows Up box. That's going to be coming up. All you need to do is stay tuned. We're going to have a code, redeem it, share it with your friends. It's not a first come, first serve basis, but it's unique to you. And just make sure that you just spread that love. Make sure everybody gets it. The only stipulation is, of course, that you need to redeem it by the end of this stream, which is, I think, about 4 p.m. Plus 8 GMT. So stay tuned, be eagle-eyed, make sure you do redeem that code when you do see it.
Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time. Like 1.5 hours left. I think this is not too hard.
It's not too hard. Speaking of things that are not too hard, we're going to be jumping onto a different map now. Still going to be B versus C, but we're going to be going onto Purgatory. And we know for a fact that some teams really struggle on Kalahari. But in terms of Purgatory, are there any standout teams that we're going to have to keep an eye out on?
I say it's no one specific team, right? It's all the top dogs, man. Yesterday was the day of the underdogs. Today, all of the big squads is going to be jumping up. I don't think SAF is going to be able to get the booyah this time round now. I think their time is limited in this competition. And, it could potentially be Blacklist International, guys. We have not seen them rage up to the top just yet in a while now.
For me, maybe not. SAF might not get the booyah, but I think they will still have a good performance like always, right? In fact, I'm looking at FastQ and Metrics. I have a good feeling that these two teams might just be able to make it.
All right, well, we're going to find out. This is going to be Purgatory Match 4. AJ Husky, take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Holler. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is AJ. That was Holler who just passed it on. I almost called him a hustler earlier on, so I do apologize for it. I almost slipped out of my mouth, and I stopped myself, and it was quite an awkward end of my sentence. For X-Men Expert, they jump off of the flight real quick. This time, the flight path cutting through Quarry all the way down towards Lumber Mill, and it looks like views will be the ones that are closest to the players of For X-Men Expert. Almighty, on the other hand, they will be having a tough start to this matchup if they do not move away from Brasilia, Husky.
And guess who's there? It's Freedom Rumble. Blacklist International are about to run into SAF. Seems like they are. Yeah, it seems like they've landed, or they're about to land. I mean, SAF. I feel like SAF probably is in a slightly, well, not definitely in a worse position right now because of how spread out they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Blacklist International, if they get these kind of early picks, this is not going to look good for SAF. In fact, I think Clank saw the members, and he's actually going to get a takedown. Oh, SAF, what are you guys doing? They are so far away. There's one on the north, one on the south, and the other two just running around on the eastern side. I mean, Forbes is running away. But I think Clank's about to hunt him down. And yes, Phoenix provides the backup. SAF loses 2 guys in the beginning.
Indians say I've got Karinaku. Karinaku, which means whenever I say something, it comes true, right? Blacklist International, man. They're jumping up to that #1 spot. SAF, this just isn't going to be their round. Losing 2 men early on, it's going to be tough for them to survive this. Forbits now gets snuffed out by Phoenix, and we'll jump on over to Freedom Rumble, who takes on the fight against Almighty. They need to watch out for Jay-Z, who's taken quite the angle on that roof there, Husky.
I think Almighty should be fine. I mean, I know you say that SAF is not going to get the booyah, but you know, losing 2 guys in the beginning, I did not expect. I expect them to make it to the last circle and lose out, but not lose 2 guys in the beginning. But Oren with a bad timing to leap into the house, and that's gonna be his resting place.
Oh, come on!
Rex also gets sniped. I mean, Jay-Z on the roof. You can't find him. Freedom Rumble, they're gonna lose 2. Shira is spotted by Vegeta, but I don't think he can do much.
Nice.
Can he? Maybe he can. Vegeta gets him down, but Apam also gets shot, courtesy of Jay-Z once more. And I think Freedom Rumble, if there's anything they can do right now, is to just get out of there. But it seems like Vegeta actually wants to go for more. This is Freedom Rumble in a nutshell. They don't care if you take on 2 other guys. They just want kills. And Vegeta is looking for those kills. Is in the House of Almighty without permission. Ren is going to reveal himself with the time turner, but I don't think Vegeta can face off against this 1 versus 2.
This is going to be a tough situation, but Ren has not topped his health. Right back up. It's a 2-on-1 situation, and Vegeta gets taken down. Beautiful plays, but not before he went in there for a knock first. Apam wastes too much of... What was Apam doing?
Trying to you want to see if he's faster than the bullet, you know? I don't know.
No, I mean, in a situation like that, your almost your whole team has gone in there for the commit, albeit 1 by 1, very, very messily. Best case scenario was pushing 2 men in there, your 2 final men, right? Because you've already chosen to go in there for the commit. It's not like a different sort of a game where you can just go in, have 1 guy survive and bring them back on a revive flight. It just doesn't work like that. Free Fire, the competitive scene has not allowed those revives in here just yet. I don't get that fight coming through from Freedom Rumble. Very, very, very bad decisions being made, one after the other there, Husky.
It's a pretty weird stuff for Freedom Rumble. I mean, this is the second round in a row that they get knocked out first. I mean,
crazy, man.
It's definitely crazy. I mean, Freedom Rumble, if you are, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Freedom Rumble, they are now in 9th place. I mean, there's still a gap between them and Matrix. But if they get knocked out 2 rounds in a row, Matrix is going to be happy. Every other team will be delighted that Freedom Rumble is underperforming, to this extent. The RN, he is also not in a good spot. His car is in flames, and he is caught between the 2 members of Umbrella Reborn.
Arns needs to be really careful here. Car on fire. It's not gonna explode and hurt him that much. So oh goodness me, but I pans. That nade from him definitely will hurt. And Arn's now on the ground, and Zay just cannot do anything much at all. Shiro, I don't even have eyes on this guy. He's quite far away from the situation, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Arns just was not in the best of positions at all. Now Shiro from afar trying to come in here and make a difference with his vehicle. But the best that this guy can perhaps do right now is just try to survive a little bit longer. In a car, probably the worst way to do that.
So far, he has not been spotted, so it's going to give them a means to gain some distance. And Fascio and Y, they themselves have 3 separate vehicles. And they're having fun, driving around. They just drove past the bridge where Umbrella Reborn is hiding underneath. I think Fascio and Y, they have the plan to just move into as close to the center of the circle as possible, and I'm fine with that. In fact, so far they are splitting out to a 2-2 formation, so we'll see how that turns out. Almighty though will face their second opponent. This time it's going to be Metrics.
Now, Metrics, they are looking to continuously climb up that board. Number one thing on their mind right now is overtaking Freedom Rumble. So this is the best place that they can do it by winning this fight out against Almighty. Jay-Z taking those shots. Almighty already have got 4 kill points in here, but they are down 1 man. Batman, their greatest aggressor, is no longer in this matchup, and Almighty bolts out of there. Great decision coming through from Shira here, Husky.
Yeah, and I feel like the reliance on Batman was just too much, right? It's like, you can't just rely on one guy to do all the work. I mean, not to take anything away from the rest of the team, but I feel like some things have to change, and it has to start with, what can we do if Batman dies? And in this situation, both Jay-Z and Shira, Jay-Z and Ren, I believe they both stepped up. Shira also contributed in his own way, and I love to see more of that, because it's not every round that Batman is gonna end up being the superhero, right? It's not a DC comic. He can bleed, he can die, so you need to have a contingency plan.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Almighty, they need to survive, not just for themselves, but for the pride of the Philippines, man. I mean, they brought in 5 squads into the MCP Majors, and all 5 of those teams potentially look to qualify to the grand final, Sasuke. And of course, the balance of Almighty as well as their luck in here might get undone. Do Easy, Z Squad, Umbrella Reborn, Argon MY, these are the teams that are trying to catch up to their spot. And, Almighty may be able to make the difference in this round. They've tried to take that aggressive move already. Great work in getting those 4 kill points. As long as they can survive and play the placements for themselves, they should be all right in terms of those points.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Blacklist International so far, they have, again, settled for Mode House. Every time there's Purgatory, you will see Blacklist International and Mode House. They are feeling pretty comfortable. So I'm fine with that, I think Blacklist International has had it figured out. And AKO, on the other hand, they probably know that Almighty is down there, whereas SAF, they just moved away, as we can see on the radar. So SAF will not be a part of this exchange, if any exchange ever happens.
Auto knockout. They've got a great angle here. Almighty, we were just talking about them, and it looks like they are going to become feed for the side of AKO unless they stay put in their own space and hope and pray that someone else comes asking questions of auto knockout, and that someone might just be SAF. So let's see whether or not Almighty has got Lady Luck smiling at them. Rybel gets taken down. 4X-Men Expert gets Rybel deleted, and it is going to be Blacklist International. Now Manflank gets knocked down. A good response coming in here from 4X-Men Expert, but they need to find a way to go in for the delete on Manflank as well. If they can take Manflank out of this equation, it would be a battle won already for the rest of the teams in this game, because this guy is an absolute troublemaker. Goku stepping out of his cover, trying to take Phoenix out of the equation, but a time turner as well as the glue wall will allow Phoenix that a little bit of extra seconds to heal himself up. And now he steps out of his glue wall accidentally just to get a little bit of information to make sure none of those players are coming in here for that aggressive push. Manflank once again gets knocked down and then deleted right away. That is what we want to see from 4X-Men Expert. Now Cobra on the ground. Maru, is he going to be able to go in here and break that
aggressive push. Clanks very low on that HP, tops himself right back up with the medkit, cooking up the nade now. Are they going to be able to pull the time turner out in time? The nade absolutely does no damage to 4X-Men Expert, and Phoenix now needs to back away with the double vectors as well as that shotgun, if at all. 4X-Men Expert comes in here for the aggressive push. Blacklist International might be able to turn things around for themselves, Sasuke.
Yeah, and at the same time, P actually radicals. They are just eradicating Umbrella Reborn. Nothing much that UMB can do in that situation. AKO Legends still playing a Baywatch as they, look over, look across the field, knowing that Almighty might be down there. Whether they know that or not, Almighty are not in a good position. If they get spotted, AKO is gonna gatekeep them. The fact that they're in a way better position, regardless of where the circle is. Blacklist International not able to penetrate the fortress that is 4X-Men Expert. I would say I am super impressed how 4X-Men Expert were able to hold on to their compound. But Jay-Z just got a kill onto one of AKO Legends' members. That is insane, especially from the low ground.
Absolutely unfortunate, man. Blacklist International, they should have held on to a less aggressive push, but they break apart, man. Flank getting taken down early on. I feel like that was the greatest stressor of the Blacklist International players to lose focus on this game. Immediately, they lose Cobra as well, and now Clanks as well as Phoenix. They are waiting for 4X-Men Expert to make a mistake, but it does not look like that is happening. 4X-Men Expert playing this situation very, very well, not taking the aggressive push, even if they do have the numbers on their hand. And this stalemate is not going to end up well for the side of Blacklist International at all, because as time moves on, as that zone moves on as well, Blacklist International will eventually have to move out of their hiding place.
Yeah, that definitely is going to be kind of the next thing on the menu, I guess. It's like a routine. But Blacklist International, they were able to take out another member from 4X-Men Expert as SAF. So far, still on the run. They went from the Supreme Assault Forces to kind of, just what do you call it?
Force.
Just a force.
just
couple of
force
militias
in the game. Oh, beautiful nade now dropped, but then Phoenix will be able to aggress on and punish him for that miscalculation. And this is what I was talking about. That's what Blacklist International is waiting for 4X-Men Expert to make silly mistakes like this. And Spade just needs to understand that they are not going up against a jump squad here. Blacklist International will be able to switch things around in the blink of an eye. Once again, the shotgun as well as the double vectors, that will be the secret for the side of Blacklist International. A quick peek at the zone here tells us a very clear story that this fight is not over and it will be continuing shortly. But look at this movement coming through. Blacklist International breaking away. 4X-Men Expert trying to take a quick flank up on them. Let's hope it works out for themselves. Blacklist International, they are trying to swap sides. 4X-Men Expert, are they going to make this silly mistake of giving away the vantage point? I think they will do exactly that, Husky.
4X-Men Expert, they ran down. That means that Blacklist International actually has to challenge them because the circle is not favoring both of them at all. Maybe 4X-Men Expert make the right move, but they have to do it properly. As we see SAF, they just showed up on the south. Doesn't hurt too much, so he will be able to escape and play for the placement points.
Yeah, AKO should be able to gatekeep the players from Almighty from getting in towards this next zone here, but Taken literally takes his eyes off of those players from Almighty. They can't overextend themselves because they know that those shots coming in from that house should be able to get a knock onto them. Getting that pickup shouldn't be too much of an issue, but you know the fact that auto knockout, they want to save all of the utilities for that final zone play. They are aiming for that number one spot. Once again, extra 200 USD of pocket money might be bagged by these boys. Team Fastkill now for Malaysia going in for the push for X-Men Expert, with Spade manages to get that final kill onto Blacklist International. Cannot Brain gets eliminated by SAF as well. A two-man push by SAF, as a matter of fact. I don't know how they pulled it off of screen, Husky, but it's very impressive for SAF to survive this long with those two guys.
I mean, you have the two, the two pillars of SAM, McCrory and Let's Go. When these two guys are around, you know that they are forced to be reckoned with. They lost Damon and Forbis early on, so it definitely just dampens their firepower a bit. But as I say that, Let's Go, he's out. As Taken will make sure that SAM doesn't proceed further. So just like you said, SAF, they're not going to get the booyah, but I think their performance today has been okay. You know, they're still hitting the average total points that they get per day. So I think SAF, it might not be the best day, but they shouldn't feel too beat up about how things have been. In fact, I feel like AKO, they're about to run into Almighty, or at least Almighty will be forced to run into AKO, and this is going to be an uphill battle, but JZ once more with the snipe, takes out Taken, and there's not even a chance for Decos to get him back out. In fact, I think because of that, AKO might have to start abandoning ship.
This is what I was talking about, right? Don't allow them to take those snipes from that lower ground, and that's exactly what Jay-Z does. And now PXG Barba out of nowhere eliminates Shira from the equation, and Almighty's just hurting because everybody's just taking pot shots at them from all around this map. Ali now gets knocked down. Yun goes in for that backup. Hanma knocks Ash down onto the ground. Metrics taking this aggressive fight against the side of FSK, and Team Fast Kill, they will be the aggressors who gets the better side. Ali with that pickup now needs to top his health right back up as they try to run in towards that blue zone. Metric still alive and kicking. Those players will be able to get the backstab. You need to be careful, and Rin catches him out in the open. Umbrella Reborn gets eliminated. Team Fast Kill facing a huge tough time against Metrics, and they get eliminated as well as they do not watch their backs. But unfortunately for them, Metrics out of the equation as well. Views now taking the fight up against 4 X-Men Expert, and they have got an amazing vantage point to fight for here.
Fastkill put up a good fight, but I mean, I'm impressed with how Metrics did that. You know, they just crashed in. They refused to go down without a fight. They took Fastkill MY out first before they bow out, so that's extra points for Metrics. They're gonna be happy with that. AKO Legend is gonna be the next one to go down as Ray Miao fights an easy leg shot onto Ren. As Almighty suffers extra casualties. PXG Radicals with 9 kills, and that grenade is going to be the end of Almighty with 3 teams left. PXG Radicals on the way to the second booyah.
Now calculate your trajectory to perfection. That's exactly what PXG is doing with the help of Ramiel. Views now gets eliminated. Embalore as well as Alforte taking themselves out with the blue zone just to make sure they don't give out extra kill points to anybody else in here. Insanity, he has got that grenade launcher. 4 X-Men Expert not gonna get anything in here. Grenade launches OP, and it is PXG that picks up that booyah. Ramiel, your MVP, truly well deserved. Husky.
Yep, and this will be their second booyah of the day. Again, back on the same playing field. PXG Radicals and SAF, the only 2 teams with 6 booyahs right now. But what a day it has been for PXG Radicals. They are making sure that they are still in this race. And most importantly, they are making sure to keep SAF in check.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's welcome back Danny as well as Holler, and we can discuss exactly how that match continued. Danny, the top dogs still on fire.
They're still on fire, but I think most importantly, PXG Radicals are making a big statement today. Yeah. They're not saying it directly, but I think at this point you can say that PXG Radicals, they are going to be threatening SAF's position. Because they managed to get so many points today. Yes, SAF managed to get a booyah today, but if we total the number of points that PXG got, this is going to actually close a sizable gap on that leaderboard. And so far, we haven't really seen SAF pop off like they did during the first half of the season. So I feel like if SAF doesn't pick it up soon, that gap is just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until PXG will be right on their tails.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's give the MVP to Ramiel today, right? The guy has at least 11 kills. I actually lost track. He's just been all over the place. He's been all over the place. And I like the fact that you're just doing the fadeaway shot right there, AJ, because he's like he's 100% hit rate with those grenades. He's literally like Kobe. Just everything he's doing is just, you know, he's making sure that he's securing those kills. He's just like I feel like he's really good at skee ball. And the reason being is that you got the tiny little hole. The glue walls are kind of like making those holes for him, and he's just like a little dunking him in. I mean, he's just having a field day with the kills. Ramiel's just been on point today, and there's a reason why PXG will be skyrocketing and giving SAF a run for their money.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, in that round just before, PXG were about 62 points away from SAF. And looking at the abysmal performance by the side of SAF, with the early messy drop taking that fight up against Blacklist International, which I will not understand, I agree with the ideation of SAF to break away, but that should have been communicated well with all of the other players because they broke away and they also broke apart at the same time, Husky.
Yeah, and eventually they broke down, right? I mean, Black International. When we looked at the radar, I remember I said the first thing I said was that I think Black International just had a way better distribution of members, and the first thing we saw was SAF getting taken out, losing 4 bits, and Damon right at the start. They were I think Lezago and McGrory were able to survive for a lengthy period of time, but they were not able to make too much impact. I think right now the only thing that separates SCF and PXG Radicals is just kills alone, because SCF has 168, PXG Radicals only has 129. And remember I mentioned once how PXG Radicals, they acquired Ray Meow from VPH Velocity, and that was one of the best acquisitions. This is it. He is starting to show that results.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I mean, they don't really cut down a lot of these points, Danny, with that victory, but, you know, they are slowly inching closer and closer. I mean, at one point, it was about 100 points for them to catch up, and now, after the victory, it should be just about 50 plus, and they are on to a great stride here. Auto Knockout, on the other hand, they will have to perhaps, I guess, step it up next week to be able to do exactly what PXG is pulling off in here. But, you know, we can't count out all the underdogs, right, Danny? Because yesterday was their day, and they might just come right back in next week.
Well, next week's going to be pretty interesting too, right? Because we're also looking at the group shuffles. And I think most importantly, we need to take into consideration that our top 3 teams are also in the exact same group right now. So imagine the possibilities of these teams actually being separated. How many more points will SAF get? How many more points will PXG, aka like, how is this going to influence the top 3 teams? Because at this point of time, they're basically contesting for points with each other. They don't really have too much competition outside of everyone within their group. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the changes next week, but I think this is basically going to be it for these 3 teams today, right? This is all the points that they can get. We're looking at changes for the rest of the groups.
Yeah, it's quite hard to assume that as well. And I only say that because of the season 1 of the MCP majors. Remember, Danny, where we had some kryptonite squads, and these guys were technically nothing on the leaderboards, but they were so effective against some of those big dogs, right? And with the regroup, we might just see that happening to potentially Supreme Assault Forces, PXG, or AKO. I absolutely agree with you. We need to wait to see exactly what happens in here next week. I'm looking at Bloody Heads. They started stepping up only after the regrouping. They have been able to find their stride before, like, you know, from the get-go itself. So I'm a little bit nervous here for next week for them.
And for me, it will always be ITX. At least for now. I think Tactical Intex has been able to throw a wrench in, regardless of who you are. You know, they have, I wouldn't say no respect, but they treat everyone the same. You know, they stick to the strategy, and their strategy is just, we don't care who is in front of us. We will take the fight when we think that we can take the fight. So right now, since the top 3 teams, they are done for the first half of the group stage. Tactical Instincts still have 2 more rounds left. I'm waiting to see if they can, you know, put more points on the table.
And I hope they do. I mean, it's going to be very interesting seeing that last 2 matches. It's going to be Group A versus C, but this is the round standings from match 4. We saw PXG, Almighty, 4X-Men Expert, Woo's even there. We talked about how they're just, you know, they're able to play Possum, just kind of stay alive, but that donut for kills is very worrying moving forward. But AJ, any other team that kind of just stuck out to you in this one?
I have to say, Almighty, they are stepping it up, and they are shocking the life out of me. Like, where did they come from, right? Are we going to be able to continuously see them aggress on? Because top 3, they've hit this now 2 times in a row. I'm excited to see what else they have for us. Once again, they bear the flag of the Philippines. They are the ones who are pretty much at the very bottom as they carry that flag. They want to, you know, step it up a little bit more. But I think they're on a great path already, Holler.
Agreed. And I'm happy to see, you know, even some of the other teams like, you know, Blacklist International, they got 8th or whatever with 0 placement points, but they still managed to get 4 kills. They're just trying to get as much as they can going into the next one. But to me, the biggest story from this one was PXG Radicals ending with a bang, right? This is their last match of the day. They wanted to ensure that, hey, SAF, we're going to try to knock you out and we're going to push you back, have a 19-point lead advantage going into this last one. And then even, when we do have the shake up, yeah, we might not be in the same group or whatever, but we're going to make this very competitive. You better not rest on us.
Yeah, and Danny, let's talk a little bit about metrics, right? We saw them going in here, and I believe Hollow, they got about 50 points yesterday in total. Yep. Today seems to be such a huge contrast in comparison to their performance of yesterday, Danny.
Yeah, there was actually a really big change. So I feel like the case of yesterday, some of it really came down to luck. I think there were a couple of scenarios where you would have thought, like, metrics, if it was different, if this circle wasn't here, it shouldn't have been Metrics' game. I'm sorry. I think that is true. There is sometimes days where you just have a lot of luck, and I feel like yesterday was that day for Metrics.
Yeah.
And then today was a good example of what happens if it's a normal day.
Yeah.
This is not so great for Metrics. But anyway, speaking of Metrics, we're going to leave them for now. We're going to let them recoup for their next matchup because we have our giveaway code right here for all of our wonderful viewers at home. So please claim it right now. It's at the bottom of the screen. It's MCP GSP 5KKUZR. Get that in. It's going to expire at the end of the stream. So make sure you claim it now. Otherwise, if you miss out, not my problem. Claim it now.
I doubt anyone will miss out on the code though, because whenever I jump onto the stream, there's just a string of comments. Code, please, code, please, code, please, code, please, code, please, code, please. I'm pretty sure the first thing they want is, guys, shut up. Stop breaking down the match. We just watched the match. Please give us the code first.
I mean, I wish we had the power to summon the code, but it's not us that summons the code, okay? The code comes by itself. So.
These guys, they just wake up. The first thing on their mind is just code. These guys got their priorities straight. It's not like I want to wake up, I want to do this or that. No, I want to wake up and I want to get the code. I want to get the 2x box or whatever it is that is given out on that day. So these guys are something else.
I mean, they're cheering for their teams too.
And it speaks volumes about the community, right? The fact that, like, I don't know these guys, but people are requesting for it. I'm going to hand it to you. I'm going to pass it off. But that said, that was our match 4. We're going to take a little bit of a break as we go into B and C. That's coming up right next.
Takes let's go down. Spade dropped onto the ground. Jabat goes down as well for X-Men. X-Men not looking great at all.
Teams will be squished in together. Who will take this fight and who will take this booyah?
It's going to be Almighty on our screen. They're putting up the kill. Shira is down, but Batman, he's running into the center. We're planning to smash it. It's public to everyone. Can Almighty do this? He's the last man alive. Almighty turns around, and I think they've done it.
But he does not get the hits onto Batman, and Batman can't even pull those flanks off. Beautiful nade placement coming through from Jembal, but Shira gets taken down, eliminated immediately.
Gives me so much of confidence in this team of Enigmax. V2, beautiful nade now being tossed up front. And you did talk about V2 a little bit earlier on in this competition. What crazy placement. Manchai might be able to go in for the knock on a couple of players, but if he wants to take advantage, he needs to get the delete as well. Players from the side of Enigmax now coming in for the snuff. V2 with those questions, and Manchai needs to get away, but with the shotgun, is able to bring in so much of challenge.
But let's go gets another snipe, and Goku, he has to spend so much time. The grenade flying through. This might just be it. This might just be the back that ends it all for X-Men Expert.
Triple kill. Shut down. Blockade kill. Blockade kill.
lukan sokongan.
Hello and welcome back to day 6 of the MCP Major Season 2. My name is Holler and with me is Danny. These hips don't lie. We are down to our last 2 matches of the day. Danny, are you on Team Group A or Group B?
Oh, I'm definitely for Team Group A, personally, because we saw them go absolutely bonkers yesterday. And it felt like a really nice breath of fresh air too, because we're constantly seeing teams in Group B and C dumpster them up until this point. But now we're starting to see the revenge of Groups A. Regretfully, it's right before the group shuffle, so this could have come a little bit sooner, but better late than never, I suppose. But honestly, I want to see some more of these points go to teams in Group A.
Yes, same. I mean, these are all the qualified teams, right? It just so happens that all of Group A were a bunch of qualifiers, and they were just kind of hit their groove a little late in the league. I mean, yes, it's the end of the first half, and we're going to have that shakeup that you alluded to, but, you know, Tactical Index to me is really stepping up. Do Easy as well. I think this is the perfect time to just kind of make sure that you hit that stride moving forward, because you're up against a monster of what is Group C.
Oh yeah, very big monster in Group C. Although we have to say though, Group B has been the nightmare for both teams A and C. Although A has been able to deal with Group B a little bit better lately, and I'm very happy for them in that regard. But Group C, these guys have been struggling up against Group B. Like, Group B has been stealing all the points away from Group C, so technically this is the only opportunity that Group C can try to get points across the board for their teams. But even then, it's still not easy, because we're starting to see Group A really shake things up in terms of the placement points. And I do believe we're going to take a look at the leaderboard very quickly before we jump into this next matchup. And as we can already see, we're starting to see some of these teams rocket ahead. And I wanted to point this out a little bit earlier. The gap between PXG Radicals and SAF, I know this is Group B, but this gap is getting dangerously small.
I love it. It's very competitive, and that's pretty much what we wanted. We didn't think anyone was going to be able to catch up to SAF.
Absolutely
PXG
not.
is out here just proving everybody wrong, because they're on a roll as they get that last booyah, and they're just kind of moving forward. But I mean, just what happened with yesterday, just kind of the next point in terms of Group C, was that Fastkill Malaysia, they haven't done so well today. But the thing is that yesterday they got what? Back-to-back booyahs just to kind of finish the day. So I feel like Fastkill, they feed off of Group A, and especially this matchup. So I'm expecting Fastkill to really just kind of pick it up today.
Well, that's the dream for them, right? They want to try and get ahead if they can. They're literally on the tail of 4 X-Men Expert as well, so they could be claiming an extra $200 themselves, but at the end of the day, it's going to depend on the team's performances. And we also need to consider, so this leaderboard here, this is only accurate for teams in Group B, because Group B have played all their matches for this weekend. Teams in Group A and C still have room to grow. So we could see a little bit of a shake-up here. I think the 2 teams we should be looking out for here is Bloody Head and Do Easy, because that 12th spot, that is the spot that everyone's aiming for, especially for teams that are beyond that 13th place. And Do Easy are so close, but yet so far, because unfortunately, one of the downsides for Do Easy is that this team is so inconsistent. They have good days, but then they also have shockingly bad days as well.
Yeah, and it's worrying for Metrics, right? I mean, they have a 50-point lead from the 12th place right there with Do Easy right on their heels, but I think that it's one of those things where Metrics hasn't had a good showing. I mean, they were the number 1 point team yesterday with scoring with 56, and today's just been like night and day. This is I mean, it's going to happen in these types of battle royales where you're not going to be able to be as consistent as you want to be, but I mean, if you're going to be able to score 56 points yesterday and then just kind of like a 25 or so, 30 points, you're not having that great of a day. You really need to pick it up. Metrics needs to have those points. But we're going to go into Kalahari. It's going to be Group A versus C. This is going to be the 5th matchup. AJ and Husky, please take it away.
Thank you, Danley and Holler. Last 2 matches before we go for the mid-league swap, mid-league group shuffles. But yes, there's a lot of things to unpack. Of course, Do Easy
Yeah.
still is kind of the main character in this entire narrative, right? How good can they be? Will they choke or will they clutch? And they've only have 2 more rounds to prove that, AJ. But other than Do Easy, are there any other teams that you feel like it's going to come up huge to close out the Sunday?
I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think they're going to choke again. This just not only is there no consistency, there's just literally just one game where they got the booyah and then we just didn't see much of them anymore on the board, right? I am looking forward to seeing, just like what Holland mentioned earlier, Fastkill MY. I know they have it in them, but for X-Men Expert, they'll be aiming for the top spot as well. But the one team that's going to be the most motivated to give it their all should be Tactical Intex, because what a story it would be for this squad, right? They were like, 11th, 12th position at one point, and then they have just been climbing little by little, and now in the 8th spot. They're 14 points away from Hughes, who's sitting down in that 7th, but it's not going to be too much of an issue, because if they are able to bag a booyah and about 20 points, they not only overtake Hughes, but also Fastkill MY. And I think that is a huge motivation for Tactical Intex to not do better, but to just bring in some of the consistency that we've already seen them capable of, Husky.
Yeah, and this is cutting it very, very close. Everyone, you can literally see the teams, just lining up. They can see each other. We start with, Blacklist International, not too, but only 11 points ahead of, 13 points ahead of Forestman Expert. And then between Forestman Expert and Fastkill MY, only 4 points. Fastkill MY and Wheels, 3 points. Wheels and Tactical Intex, it was like 14 points.
14,
so one good game for ITX, you might see them be in that 5th place. This is going to be a huge final 2 round, not just for ITX, but for all of the teams that are still playing from Blacklist International onward. The top 3 teams, they're done for week number 3. But for Blacklist International, the torch is in their hands right now. They need to extend that lead, and for the rest of the teams, it's time to catch up.
Yeah, I love the pick for everyone here from the flight path that cut through the council hall all the way down to its mammoth. But the problem here is Argon MY. They choose to take such an early matchup, and it's not going to fare them well at all. But instead, MDX, they have Shafiq taken down, and X2R might be able to get the delete. Yes, he does. Beautiful start. Argon MY, what an early aggression. And now MDX comes right back. Me dropped onto the ground inside of the time turner. Ash goes right back in there, but Spark is there to ask those questions. Beautiful plays back to back, and Argon MY, they back each other up very, very well. Metrics, this seems to be a fight that they do not get much out of, and Bot 77 is out of there.
Yeah, but he does take out me in the process, so perhaps Metrics can still retaliate. No, just want to cripple Argon MY as much as they can. Pedro somehow
Bro, how do you
shoots down
see that?
X-Bot. And that is going to be the 3rd death for Metrics. Maybe it's true. Maybe Metrics is just proficient when Lady Luck is in their favor. And so far, the games have been pretty normal in the analyst terms. And Metrics, they are not conforming to that.
Husky, I'm watching this game on a 27-inch monitor. I couldn't see that guy.
Me neither.
How in the world did they manage to get the takedown? But hey, here's the thing. Metric's not out of it just yet. They've got one final player. I don't know if or not that's a great consolation, but at least he should be able to play for placement points. Rin OP, let's hope he remains a little patient and he does not try to aggress. The players from Argon MY, they do know, they do understand that they have not gone in here for a full squad wipe just yet. And if they've done this well so far, there's no doubt whatsoever that they want to go in there for that final kill point as well. As much as they can pick up, they will be trying for. Don't forget Argon MY, they are far, far away from that 12th position. They need 58 points in total to get up in there to qualify for the grand finals, and that is a tall order, man. It's a lot to ask from Argon MY based on their performance, Husky.
Yeah, and whenever we say the team needs X amount of points, we are disregarding the fact that everyone else is also getting points. But my goodness, Rin OP getting himself a knock, but can he get more? Yes, the second one comes through, but that is it. Rin OP almost makes the play of the game, but at least they go out with a bang. At least they go out
Yeah.
with one single point. It's definitely not the game for them, but they did their best.
Yeah, I like that. I like what Rin did. He didn't expose himself. He told himself that, okay, you know what? If these guys, they back away, I'm just going to play those placement points. But if they aggress, I'm going to do my best to get that kill. And I think that was perfection from him, right? Because he pulls out the time turner in the nick of time, goes in there for the snuff. But the numbers obviously will catch up with him. And it's not going to end well for anyone in a situation like that. Bloody Heads, they've got a good, compound in here. And let's see if or not they will be able to hold on to the command point, right? Because we've seen them abandon that compound in the past before to the side of SAF, and that is something that they don't really have to worry about that much, because the Supreme Assault Forces, they are not playing anymore. We have to wait for them for next week to step back in here to show us a little bit of what they are capable of. Batman, beautiful backstab onto Soldier, who was busy going shopping there, but unfortunately gets taken down. Jay-Z with a knock onto Lonesome as well, tries to take out yet another player from the side of Enigmax, and he's not going to be able to catch Black off guard. Black going in for the pickup, should be able to do this. Jay-Z with all of those shots firing up towards the side of Enigmax. That wall proving to be a little bit too tough to take over, but Lonesome gets knocked right again, and the rest of the players from Almighty, they go in for the snuff. Shira as well as Ren, but Ren gets knocked down onto the ground, and Shira as well. Beautiful plays from Black.
And he is eventually going to go down, but it's the same case as Metrics. They only bow out with one single point. I would say that was the exact thought I had. I saw Enigmax and I saw Almighty. I'm like, this is going to be good for Almighty. This is Almighty's chance to get some points on the board. Could have been slightly cleaner, but you cannot blame them, right? Enigmax just they fought with their lives. Could have been 2 kills, but just not enough damage. Nonetheless, two teams have already been knocked out from the get-go. It's Blacklist International. They're gonna do a bit of rotation as Clanks will take position on the outskirts, at least for a while, before rejoining his team at Bayfront. This should be fine for Blacklist since they are playing on the edge of the circle. We'll see if they plan to gatekeep. It seems unlikely as Clanks is already moving inwards. I think Phoenix is going to follow his team as well, so Bayfront will be completely deserted. But Wills, they're about to face off against Zed.
Oh, now Zeth, asking the first question. Monarch drops limit, beautiful, goes in for the push on the time turn, but Aoki makes the biggest mistake and gets knocked down onto the ground. Embalore, Alforte is really low, he needs to be careful. Embalore gets knocked, and Alforte, I don't know if or not he can heal himself. He does have the first aid kit on himself, beautiful on the glue wall, tops his health right back up, but for how long more is this guy gonna be able to get anything done in here? Aoki has been deleted already, views as well as Embalore! Love it! What a takedown!
I was waiting for that to happen, and it did. And Zeth, they were only playing with 3 guys, and they lost no one, and they got 4 points. The moment I saw that glue, I'm like, if there's a nade on Zeth, Wheels is done for. There was a nade, Lavis, with the play of the game so far, but after all of that noise, Fastkill MY will pay a visit. And Fastkill MY on the rise so far in 6th place, not far away from getting a better position by the end of the round, and they want to take out Zeth's squad. And I'm not sure if they know that Zeth's squad only has 3 guys, but I know for sure that Fastkill MY is going to go in for the kill. Lab is going to be taken out after his play, and Fastkill MY will continue this aggression. Argon MY will be wiped out by Blacklist International off screen. Yun will go for the swing, and he's going to take out Monarch as well. Fastkill MY should be able to clean up Zeth's squad, and indeed they will.
Yeah, Z Squad, they went in there, they stirred so much of blood into the waters, and you cannot think that the Sharks will not come biting, man. Shark, together with his whole squad of Team FSK, move in there with such a clean wipeout. Perhaps as clean as the wipeout that Blacklist International took on Argon MY. That happened so quick off screen, Husky.
Yeah, and I like that.
Just like the 5 teams are out, my friend.
Yeah, this is a pretty explosive Kalahari round.
Yeah,
I'm pretty surprised. Normally the Kalahari rounds are pretty slow, but this one is explosive. This is the ANC magic. This is the ANC that we like to see. But this circle pretty centralized. We have Refinery as the the central point, and that's where Do Easy have positioned themselves, controlling the entirety of Refinery. But we know when you control Refinery and the circle is in your favor, that's the best case scenario. But if the circle somehow decides to move away, then you're gonna be in a bit of a trouble. So Do Easy, so far, they still have some time to plan their next, to plan for a contingency initiative. But until then, they should be pretty safe.
Yeah, I feel like this round might drop into the hands of Blacklist International, right? They are as motivated to catch up to that number 1 spot. But of course, it's a lot to ask, right? 106 points away. It's going to be quite the climb. But they need maybe 2 back-to-back booyahs to be able to replace Auto Knockout Legend in that 3rd spot. And I feel like that's definitely something that Blacklist International will be aiming for. 3 kill points in the bag so far. And this is their map, man. They love Kalahari, and they have always been able to great placement points off of this map because of all of their movements. They know exactly how to plot their path through towards each and every single zone that pops out on this map. Map mastery at its finest. But they have been caught off in very, very acute angles in the past as well. So it needs to be a very careful approach here, Husky.
It definitely needs to be, methodical, I think, in terms of the approach. And so far, from what we've seen, Blacklist International decided to just, park themselves underneath one of the structures. Kind of looks like an oil rig, but they are not making too much moves. And it is fine for now. It is still the 2nd phase. The 3rd phase will begin in a bit. The UAV being sent out as well. Bloody Hit has a good compound for themselves. Fast QMY, they are on the rotation as we're seeing on the northwestern side of the radar. Do Easy on the northeastern side, which is basically Refinery. So all of these teams, they are in a decent spot, but maybe not for Prizeman Expert. They actually want to contest this Refinery. They want to go for the takeover, but let's see if they can deal with Do Easy.
Yeah, Do Easy. They've got the vantage point here, and it will have to be the ones who come in for the aggression to take the fight up to them. Do Easy. All they need to do is just hold on to their position. For X-Men Expert, they might get caught out here. Their players breaking apart from each other. Spade might be able to find a great angle, but Maru, if he gets caught out by Jembel's nades, it's going to be trouble. Jembel has got 6 of these nades to play around with. Maru, beautiful place with the container, will not be affected so much just yet. Bell might have gotten spotted out as well. The biggest game changer in here from the side of Do Easy can be Jembel, but he cannot waste those grenades that he has in his pocket. He needs to hold on to them. Bayets, on the other hand, once again, Do Easy. All they need to do is just chill and wait for 4 X-Men Expert to step up onto this platform, Husky.
Yeah, and that is exactly what they're doing right now. So far, so good. They are gathering a lot of intel. Jembao is on that low ground, and this could make or break Do Easy. Because Jembao now, he has the potential to go for a flank if he wants to, but he has to kind of wait for the information to be relayed from the rest of his team. And Do Easy, they are holding on pretty decently. Jembao, he can be the MVP if he pulls it off. But for X-Men Expert, we're seeing them still hanging around on that low ground. They are not aware that they are being watched by Do Easy, and that is good for Do Easy.
Yeah. But remember AV Ligers, the ones that have thought as Refinery's just the kind of spot where you don't hold on to for a long, long time, man. Because once that zone forces you out, y'all need to jump. And when you jump, you cannot control who's going to be down there to welcome you. Ren from afar takes Phoenix down, and he has not gone in there for the delete just yet. And Almighty, they will be looking for a couple of more shots to take up against Team Blacklist International. But Fastkill MY on for the quick approach as well. Let's hope that Blacklist International will be able to squeeze into Refinery a little bit sooner, because they desperately need all of these points as they try to catch up with Auto Knockout. Once again, 3 of those kills in the bag so far, but it does not look like they are anywhere near to how aggressive they were in Season 1 of the MCP Majors, Husky.
Yeah, wondering if Blacklist is when Blacklist will make their move, because IT actually definitely have made theirs and is straight into bloody hair. ZJ, DJ is down, and ITX, they really want to make it into the circle. You're able to pick off tricks from afar. That's a third party from Vasco MY, something that is definitely going to be pretty valuable in the long run, but thankfully ITX will bring tricks back up. Let's see what the next move is going to be. It feels like they still want to continue putting on the aggression onto Bloody Head. They're pushing Bloody Head so far back, and that's going to force Bloody Head to relinquish control of the compound, and ITX, with that extra ground, they should be able to, slowly inch their way forward.
Yeah, remember what we talked about ITX? They need about 34 points above and beyond on top of whatever, 4X-Men Expert, Fastkill, MY Views or the other teams can pick up for them to sneak in to the top 5. And if they do, I will be genuinely impressed. This would be the bloody heads of season 2, right? Beautiful play tricks as well as Zapnu. They get Hanma and Yoon out of the equation. ITX just dropping one by one all of the players from the side of FSK. And now Ali gets taken down by the zone as well. Shook gets knocked, but the pickup is not going to be too tough. Shot down onto the ground as well. What is going on? Bloody heads from afar, making the lives of ITX so difficult, Aske.
Oh my goodness, and a Forestman Expert, they actually wipe out Almighty instead. Shot is going to be knocked next by Forestman Expert. I mean, they're taking fights from all fronts. Bloody Hit and Blacklist National both trapped in a pretty unfavorable spot. Goku will down Zipnu as ITX are under constant fire. I mean, Fastkill and Y tried to play a naughty backstab, but they got punished by ITX and a Bloody Head. Grenade launcher is available for Blacklist International. Goku will down shot as ITX continues to get down. They get back up. They get shot back down. This is going to be a very vicious cycle for ITX. They lost 2 guys, all courtesy of Goku. He's wiping out the rest of ITX. Blacklist International will take the opportunity to get into the circle. A tactical intact finally falls, and the finisher will be courtesy of Blacklist International. Now they're gonna run in to take on Bloody Head. Mansflag will trade his life for 1, and Bloody Head, they'll have to try and outrun the circle. The circle completely dissipating, and now it's just the blue zone and 3 more teams.
Oh, well, Phoenix now needs to get picked up. Cobra as well as Clank still alive and kicking. Manflang has gotten taken out, but he's not super important in that final zone. Manflang is an absolute beast when you take some of these early aggression. 4X-Men Expert with the grenade launcher. Blacklist International stand absolutely no chance. Maru should be able to eliminate Cobra, but Cobra gets taken down by the safe zone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is none other than the one and only 4X-Men Expert back on track as they pick the booyah up for themselves. 13 points away, just behind Blacklist International, and that might just mean they have managed to catch up, Husky.
Yeah, they definitely have managed to catch up to Blacklist International, and the craziest part is that for us, Man Expert, they made it this far with only 1 booyah. This is their second one, same as Blacklist International, but overall, I think for us, Man Expert, they probably found a remedy. It's a team that we've been keeping our eyes on for a while, and that is slowly paying off. Let's bring back Holler and Anna Lee. I'm pretty sure they will be very delighted with the result.
Oh, delighted we are. Do we have a rough estimate as to how many points for X-Men Expert got that round?
At least half. I
Well,
didn't see the number of kills.
No, I think it was, hang on. It's about 20 points.
20 something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they had about 20 because they had about 8 kills plus the booyah. Yeah, just completely 9-day, right? Day 1, or the first match they had, they scored 1 point. The second match, which we just saw, was like, I think close to 15 points. And then this one will just jump up another 20 points. This is a team that was just kind of hit their stride right at the right time, so to speak, kind of ending the day, making sure that they are very strong. But 4X-Men, just Goku, man, this guy is just an absolute beast.
If you get the grenade launcher, Danny, you pretty much have won the whole matchup already, right? I mean, as long as you have that grenade launcher in that final circle, getting it early in the game, and you get caught out in a fight, it might be a 50-50, but in such a small circle, that grenade launcher, it might as well be a nuclear bomb. And, that was one of the biggest reasons as to why they managed to pick that winner.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
poor tactical intacts. I mean, they had a chance. They were backstabbed by Fastkill MY. They had to take on Bloody Hit, and then right after Fastkill MY got eliminated, tactical intacts, they were constantly shot by 4X-Men Expert. I believe that I believe that some members from ITX, they got knocked, they got picked back up, and they got knocked again. I mean, 4X-Men Expert probably ruined the whole round for ITX, but that was also what allowed them to get the booyah towards the very end. I think Tactical Index had a pretty decent run. It's just unfortunate that they had to be in that spot.
Yeah, well, sometimes when you go aggressive like ITX do, and you're going to get third party, you're going to get constantly harassed like that, so to speak. But it was just really interesting seeing ITX and Fastkill, who have somewhat pretty similar playstyles in the sense of the aggression, and then just kind of having to outduel them. You know, Fastkill, you thought they had the edge and they went for it. ITX was able to just kind of hold them off and turn the fight around. So ITX just making sure that they get their points. This is a team to look out for.
Danny, sorry, you were about to say something earlier.
I think that train already departed the station.
Fair enough. We missed the train, but it's all right.
I was just looking at the overall standings. I'm just trying to figure out if 4X-Men Expert would be able to take over Blacklist International spot. I don't think they will yet.
Yeah.
I think they're really close. I'm going to make a guesstimate here, about 5 points difference now.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too far at all, right, Husky? Because, you know, Blacklist International, they got into that final zone as well, my man.
Yeah, they were in second place, right? So they also got their fair share of points. But I think this definitely puts 4X-Men Expert within distance of overtaking Blacklist International. You give them one more good round where Blacklist International doesn't make top 3, I guarantee that 4X-Men Expert will overtake that 4th place.
I think we also need to take into consideration as well that Kalahari is considered one of their best maps. So this was probably Blacklist's best chance of trying to get as many points as possible to widen that distance from 4X-Men. But because they didn't really widen it, maybe they did a little bit, but I don't know. Next round, I think if anything, it's more in favor of 4X-Men to take that spot. Personally, I feel anyway.
Yeah, potentially, but I still expect Blacklist International to come in with the exact same hustle, right? We pegged them as well as Tactical Intex being the hungriest ones in this particular lobby. But obviously, you know, teams like 4X-Men Expert and all, they want a little bit of that piece of cake for themselves as well. And everybody's just jumping on in there. It's just pure chaos. And I didn't expect that, guys. I didn't expect that because we were seeing early engagements as well. We were seeing a lot of dead bodies early on in the match. And it just didn't change the amount of ruckus that was happening in that final zone.
Yeah, the thing, I think we should give a bit of credit to Zep Squad, right? This is one of the better rounds, but they took out Wheels. That is huge. They took out Wheels, courtesy of Lavis's, 2-3-man nade towards the very end of things. Sure, they got 8th place, but overall, they were able to cripple probably one of the up-and-coming teams at the very start of the round.
All right, we're going to look at the standings from that match 5. 4X-Men Expert, we knew 20 points. Blacklist International, hot on the heels with 15. But Bloody Head, Almighty, Tactical Intex, right? Like, Bloody Head and Tactical Intex, we have not really seen too much. But, man, they're having a really good showing. At day 6, they're definitely going to want to remember moving forward.
Yeah, but I want to highlight Almighty. Dude, these guys got called out so badly in the past few weeks. And they're finally stepping it up, Danny.
Yeah, but I just... is it too late, though? I'm just worried. I'm still...
point, it's all right.
I mean, it's okay. You're talking about Almighty. I'm looking at the leaderboard, and I'm looking at this Do Easy and Bloody Head situation. And Do Easy... They got to do better than this if they're going to try and make that 12th spot, because Bloody Head, they're starting to show up. It's just... I don't think Do Easy can do it. I don't think they can.
At least they're not at the very bottom of the board, right? At least they're not placing below Enigmax. And as long as they can continue to pick these points up for themselves and make sure they are at the very least keeping themselves alive in the competition, we might be able to see a difference here, guys, because you see what Do Easy is 30-ish points behind Bloody Hit now to try to play catch up. And I feel like it's not going to be impossible. I mean, we thought Supreme Assault Forces were going to be untouchable and no one's going to be able to get near them. And here is PXG just about 50 plus away.
Yeah, but I think we also need to take into consideration the teams that we're talking about, right? So I think in a play day, it's expected for the top teams to get 30 to 40 points, whereas the bottom teams, like, what's their average? Like, on a bad day, it's 0. On a good day, it's 15 maybe for these bottom tier teams. So, like, what looks reachable for the top tier teams, it's a bigger struggle for the bottom tier teams, I feel.
And the only thing separating Bloody Hit and Do Easy is actually the placement points. I mean, Bloody Hit has 55 kills, Do Easy has 1 extra, they have 56. And Bloody Hit has 118 ranking score in terms of placement, right? So that really means that Bloody Hit, they're not killing a lot of people, but they are making it towards the later game. And that itself has given them a pretty solid breeding room, to stay in the top 12.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got to claim the code right here. It's going to be MCP GSP 5KKUZR. Claim your code, get your free skins, pass it along to your squad mates. It is not first come, first serve, but it's just whatever you want. You have a little bit of time, at least till at least the end of this stream, which will then expire, and you're not allowed to. So you got to make sure that you do redeem it quickly. That is going to be the other code that you need to just make sure that you share and redeem it as quickly as possible. AJ, are you redeeming that?
I might, Free Fire has been very kind to me. The gods of RNG, whenever I go in here to spin, I already have that skin, so...
Look at you showing off.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey, sometimes I get lucky, man, like metrics.
Show off.
Whoa.
All right.
Shots fired.
It's a Sunday, AJ. Calm down.
It's the last match, guys. Do you, let's call out some teams here. Who do you think is going to get the top spot? Danny, Fizz, and then Holla.
Ooh, this round? Okay, looking at the competition, I'm gonna put my money on Almighty. I think we've given them enough. No, listen. I think we've given them enough flack today, and I think that might be enough to light the fire in their heart.
Okay. Fair. Holla, how about you?
For me, I've been riding the train the entire time, and it's the bandwagon, and I know it's been going slow, so I can go on and off whenever I want. But Tactical Intex for me, I think that I wanted them to win out. They haven't done it yet. They've done all right today, but I want to see them finish strong with that booyah.
Yeah. Well, I think Husky, you and we will leave our predictions for a bit as we shoutcast that match.
Yeah, I definitely have my eyes on both the teams that Danley and Holler, mentioned, right? Almighty and Tactical Intex. I am gonna ride on a different train. I'm still on the Metrics bandwagon, and I know Metrics. I agree. No, a normal game doesn't seem to feel like a Metrics game, right? But there's something about Metrics that I think might just give them the edge, even though they don't have luck on their side. I think we've seen them have some pretty good rounds. Albeit having the circle in their favor, having other teams taking out their opponents. But I think Metrics might still stand a chance compared to Wheels.
Not based on their chosen position to drop into Brasilia. Why must they do this to themselves, man?
But, okay. Yeah. Now it's either Metrics or Almighty. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Good save, Husky. Good save, man. But let's hope they come out of this.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen Metrics go in for those hot drops, and they've survived some of those tough ones, which we didn't expect them to get out of it.
Here's the thing. I don't control where they drop. Okay. I mean, if this is how it is, then I guess this is how it's gonna be. I mean, they've already lost two. Ashes gonna be the third. I guess Almighty is gonna get the booyah for this round for sure. Metrics, they're done so. They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Like I said, man. Maybe they won't get so lucky in the final round.
Damn it! Why? What does have to be?
What? ITX though, they are stepping it up. Aoki has gotten taken down already, and Mbalore is out of there. He needs to take the vehicle, catch up with Aoki, somehow or other pick this guy up. But Shooks is looking to eliminate this guy. Mbalore, he needs to be careful. Time Turner pulled out on top of Aoki, but Aoki gets taken out of the equation either way. Shot is the guy to put that final bullet into the coffin. Mbalore as well as Limit. Mbalore has... Mbalore! What a takedown! Beautiful! But Zapnu makes sure he pays a high price for it, and we're all left with Limit, and this guy is running out of luck.
And despite all of those plays, Wills gets 0 kills. I didn't believe it. Tactical Intex. They had to face off against Wills, and Wills got 0 kills out of that. ITX, they are really stepping up, and they still are stepping up. I mean, Wills are just not having a good day at all. I mean, Tactical Intex, they are not too far away from Wills. In fact, only 6 points separates Wills and ITX. And with how things are looking, I think ITX might overtake them at the end of the day. But Lonesome does down Jay-Z, and Max against second round taking on Almighty, and this time they are the one that draws first blood.
No, great now push from the side of Enigmax. They need to be able to perhaps go in for a more aggressive takeover of Brasilia. Almighty is already hurting. They went in there for the snuff onto Metrics. Okay, wait, I have to correct that. They are not really hurting because they barely lost anybody in that fight, right? They took a couple of shots, probably wasted about 1 or 2 medkits, and apart from that, nothing else much in there. Morgana, Mount, as well as Mark still alive and kicking after they have lost their team member already. Bloody Heads with just 3 of them now. Are they going to be able to continue to survive to play those placement points? Just like you've mentioned, Husky, what sets them apart from the side of Do Easy was all of those placement points that they have been picking up for themselves. So they've done quite a good job in the competition so far.
Yeah, they've done a great job at just staying alive. I mean, they might not be the best the best shooters out there, but they are definitely survivors, right? Their survival score is already in the hundreds. That itself, is a great statement. The fact that you can get 118 points in terms of placement means that you are consistently staying ahead of the curve. Yeah, sure, they have some really bad rounds, but not as bad to the extent where the placement points aren't up to par.
Yeah, speaking of Do Easy, they are playing in this lobby. We haven't seen them yet, have we?
No, I don't think we have.
Okay. I was just hoping the guys don't get taken down early, right? Because that's going to be quite an interesting fight to see, because Do Easy is clearly hungry. They are fighting for the top 12 spot. But, like we've discussed so many times around now, every single time Do Easy does a little bit well, Bloody Heads continuously steps it up on their own end, right? And Do Easy is finding it such a hard task for them to overcome. Fast Kill might be able to snuff out Bloody Heads at Forge, and that might be the opening that Do Easy needs for themselves, Sasuke.
Yeah, I'm looking for ITX, and I think, and yeah, there we go. Yeah, Quarry, pretty much alone on that island. I'm pretty sure they have to move into the mainland pretty soon, judging by how the circle is so far. But Enigmax, they did get an early kill. I believe that was on Jay-Z from the side of Almighty. That's gonna put Enigmax in a pretty decent position. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna sound like a bad person asking this question, but is this their first kill of the day?
Potentially. Enigmax, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really had to ask the question because I don't think I have seen them. Maybe they have knocked someone.
Yeah.
But getting a kill is kind of a different story.
Yeah, Enigmax, I think earlier today we did see them get 1 kill.
One kill, okay.
They are on the second. That's a roll. That's a good place to start with, Husky.
I like how the bar is so low for them. Like, they're gonna hate us. Okay.
Hey.
They're the only team that hasn't hit the 100-point mark just yet.
Yeah.
So...
Every single team we've roasted has managed to step it up. Every single one of them. Almighty included, and that's a huge statement, my friend.
okay. I mean, like, yeah, I guess.
Another
like,
rose right there.
I mean, you roast 10 teams and like one of them doesn't make it, so it's still okay, right? 90% success rate.
Absolutely, bro. And whether or not they can make it up, it is all up to them. And now this is a very, very risky play. But look at Zapnu with his amazing nade getting tossed in. He is going in for the aggressive approach. Those players all behind those glue walls. And Zapnu's not waiting, but immediately pulls out the time turner for himself because he knows it's a little bit way too aggressive. And he goes in for that long flank, trying to catch off the players from Argon MY. Spark pulling out all of these glue walls for themselves. And now Zapnu, can we see some grenade plays? He has none on him, so he will bring in those SMG CQC combat, but Shook gets dropped, and it is the side of Argon MY taking the better hits in this fight against ITX Sasuke.
Yeah, Argon and Y able to go for the wraparound, and now they have ITX completely surrounded.
Oh, what?
Zimnu, what is going to be the next course of action? He's on the flank, but those blue walls will make his shots so much harder. In fact, Argon and Y, look at what they're doing. They're pushing forward. They know that they have the numbers advantage, and they want to overwhelm ITX. Shot gets the first down, but not the kill just yet. Argon and Y would try to go for the revive shot. Finally gets taken out. Trace comes in from behind, tries to go for the spray, but no! It's going to be me that ends it all. Zimnu will bring his body back up, but he needs to do it fast and needs to do it now. Morgana gets knocked out of a vehicle off screen. Tricks will be brought back up, but shot is down, and Argon and Y might just overwhelm ITX at this point. Tricks now it's his turn. You see the nade, they're coming through, and everyone from ITX is trapped. Argon and Y just does this so well, and they wipe out ITX without losing a single member.
Oh, what a play, man. I mean, this was just defense at its best. But, you know, they've expended so many of those glue walls in this situation. And now Zeth endgame taking on Almighty Lavitz on the ground. But they'll be able to pick him up real quick. Ren is down on the ground, and they should be able to go in for the quick delete. Monarch makes sure he gets that pulled off instantaneously. And the rest of the players from Almighty are nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and Almighty, I wonder what the game plan is right now. Zeph squads, they have 2 kills, and they are just, you know, casually chilling. Everyone hiding behind the glue wall. This is kind of a makeshift fortress for them. But so far, there's nothing that threatens Zeph squad just yet. They want to run straight into Blacklist International, and maybe that is going to be a fight that is hard for them to win. We'll see if they can make it work. We have been, you know, giving Argon and White a lot of flack this week. They finally showed up on the last game of the first half of this group stage. Let's see if they can go further than this. It's not gonna put them, you know, close, or at least it's not gonna put them within touching distance of the 12th place, but it's definitely gonna give them a boost of morale.
Oh, absolutely, man. But, you know, they just winning that one team fight is not going to be enough. They need to take way more of these, a little bit aggressive in towards that final zone as well. But more importantly, they need to play a little bit of bloody heads in this particular round. They need to play those placement points. Kills come later. Clearly, they are not the best mechanically sound squad in here to be aggressive, like Blacklist International. Even Blacklist International has stepped off of that aggressive stool and, you know, tries to take these slow matches up this time around. And I think that it will be able to help them at the grand finals. They seem to be onto something here, Husky. I just haven't figured out exactly what it is, because when they want to bring that aggression out, there's just no stopping these guys.
Yeah, and maybe this is going to be another case of that. Clanks down Goku again for his man expert from behind. This is the same thing as last game as Blacklist International. They're completely trapped, and we're just waiting for that nade. Alive is what the heck? How did he just down himself? What did Lavis do? Well, never mind about that, because they're about to get rushed by Fastkill and Y, and this is not
GG, bro.
good for them.
Yeah, Fastkill in there, Zed, Blacklist International, 4X-Man Expert. Who else wants a piece of this cake? Bring it on. Blacklist International now going in with the aggressive push. Will be able to find Type 64, drops him onto the ground. The delete does not come through just yet. Monarch taken down as well. Blacklist International are right back in business. But Team Fastkill MY are moving straight up, and oh, look at this. Look at the defense by Blacklist International with those glue walls just trapping themselves up in this compound. But this
is gonna be a risky play because Vasquez, all they need to do is just take one of those glue walls down and pop all of those strings of nades in towards Blacklist International, and they'll go pop.
Yeah, Blacklist International, they have set up a barricade. They fortified the compound, but it's not enough. That squad's gonna be knocked out first, but Cobra is also down. Fastkill and Y, they're about to open the floodgates by force, and indeed they do. Clanks is out next. Cobra gets picked back up. It's gonna drop that glue wall, but it's not gonna matter. Fastkill and Y just too fast as they overwhelm Blacklist. And Blacklist International, they are out.
Yeah, too good, too lucky in that circumstance as well for Pascal MY that Blacklist International did not have enough of that firepower on them. It's just way too messy. 4X-Men Expert asking great questions, and those guys, after they ask those tough questions, they're like, okay, enough interference, we are out of here now, and they continue to move on deeper into the circle. But Pascal MY, they just saw that opportunity, they heard those gunshots, and they knew that they could overcome that situation. They go in for that aggressive push as usual. But what I'm afraid of is we've seen this aggression from Team Fastkill before, and it's not consistent, right? Sometimes they come up in here super high frags, sometimes they come up short. But yesterday in the final 2 games, they managed to pick those buoys up. Let's see if they can secure the exact same this time round as well, Husky.
And this is gonna be pretty close. I mean, because Blacklist International got knocked out, I think in 9th place, that means that 4X-Men Expert have a really good chance of overtaking Blacklist by the end of this round. In fact, I think they've already had, just based on placements and kills alone. So Blacklist International, they're not going to be happy about the result. And 4X-Men Expert still standing strong. Oregon MY on the western island. They probably will have to move pretty soon, depending on where the circle goes. And that's where Do Easy is also at. On the more northern side, Rybell does take out Yun as the pressure from 4X-Men Expert continues to wait on Fastkill and Y.
Why is the player from Almighty swimming outside of the zone? He's just swimming across, trying to play survival. Sparks knocks Shira out of the equation, and bye-bye, that guy goes. Unfortunate for him. 4X-Men Expert, on the other hand, still looking for the players from the side of Enigmax. Not going to be able to find anyone just yet, but they have got the zone in here for themselves, which means they can set up the defense. Team Fastkill MY might be able to ask some good questions. Do Easy taking out bloody heads, literally the ones that they need to overcome. We were talking about this earlier on, so it'll be very interesting to catch that fight, Husky.
Yeah, and if they can take up Bloody Head right now, they are going to put themselves even closer to the 12th spot. As 4X-Men Expert, they're going to take on not just Fastkill and Y, but also EMX. Maybe that is a bit too much for them to handle, as they lost Goku courtesy of Fastkill and Y. But Fastkill and Y will have to run. They need to run behind, and wow, Ali is caught out in the open. Can he make it through? And yes, he does. He makes it through. Bloody Head gets eliminated by Oregon MY. Good news for Do Easy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Do Easy, they started off that whole thing. Now Jembal gets down. Views getting involved in this fight as well. I want to see exactly what's happening in this battle, man. I mean, how are so many of these squads involved in this fight? Jembal got deleted through already. Ipan tops his health right back up. They are holding on to a very, very troublesome spot here as they try to get in towards the next zone. Number 1, they have to go for a quick swim. Number 2, Argon MY will be able to ask those tough questions. So Do Easy, now's the best time to get their butts moving, Husky.
Yeah, and they need to do it quick. Look at where the circle is. It's not in their favor. Start swimming, my friends. Swim, take the zip line, do whatever it takes to get onto mainland, because that's where the final showdown is going to happen. Do Easy Shah still staying on that island. Maybe you want to take a few pot shots on the members of Argon MY, but if they don't do it right now, Argon MY, they will make it to shore, and they are now in safe zone. Fastkill MY is gonna gatekeep it, and I think Fastkill MY sees it. Argon MY running uphill. This is gonna be a tough fight, and that means 4X-Men Expert completely left alone, and they will have an easy access into the circle. Argon MY now under heavy fire.
Oh, beautifully taken by Team FSK. And they might just, pull off this booyah here, because looking at the teams and the quality of these squads in towards that final circle, who better than Team Fastkill, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Yes, 4X-Men Expert is there as well, but they've not been shining as bright as they should. And now, Team Fastkill, they will get the zone as well. Views gets eliminated. Yoon, beautiful nade sent towards 4X-Men Expert. Argon MY, they are struggling in this fight, and Shark on the ground now. Team Fastkill, they not only need to pick this guy up, but they need to watch their backs.
Yeah, and their backs is where Forestman Expert is, and EMX also have to leave the fishing hut just because the circle has also abandoned them. This is gonna be a close fight, but Fastkill MY will need to make it as quick as possible. Sure, they're close to the circle, but you know, you want to finish this this fight so that you can focus on the rest of the teams. Look at that, they're getting shot from behind, just like what you said. You need to pay attention to your back. And Ali, he gets another down onto a member of Argon MY, but Fast Kill themselves, they're not in such a comfortable spot. Soldier from EMX putting on pressure. Argon MY in a horrible spot, and that's where Forestman Expert is gonna start chipping in. As Space will finally eliminate V2. Maybe Forestman Expert can get the second booyah, as the rest of Fast Kill will annihilate Argon MY, but they gotta make it quick.
Oh, absolutely, man. And now Fastkill will have that opportunity. They take it. Argon MY eliminated now. Enigmax, 4 kills so far. Soldier as well as Black down. Back to back coming through. And now 4X-Men Expert out of the equation as well. Team Fastkill, the inconsistency, who cares about it as long as they bag the booyah. And they get it done yet again, Husky. Hanma picks up the MVP. FSK picks it up yet again.
And this is a huge round for Fastkill MY. Not only did they get the booyah by the end of the first half of the league stage, but they also bagged more than 20 points. That is going to put them so far ahead of all of the other teams. And I would say, Fastkill MY, they have certainly impressed us. And after week number 2, I think week 2 they were still kind of struggling. We kept comparing them to Freedom Rumble, right? We always say the Freedom Rumble is Fastkill MY, but better. Freedom Rumble just does a lot of things better than Fastkill MY. Not anymore. Fastkill MY, they put ahead, and they're putting ahead even farther. Maybe this is what Fastkill MY is trying to tell everyone else. Do not compare us to Freedom Rumble. We are just the superior team. Let's bring our hosts back, Annalie and Holler, and I'm pretty sure they have something to say about this final round. Welcome back, guys.
I just want to quickly point out all the horses that we put our money on dropped really early. This may have been a case of caster's curse in this round. I feel kind of bad for some of these teams, but I mean, it wasn't too bad. Fastkill MY going to be super proud of themselves. They got a buttload of points, and I feel like for them, these points were so crucial because the position that they are in on the leaderboard right now is so influential with the points that they're definitely going to be able to overtake, without a doubt, no problem.
All right, for me, I don't mean to call out people here, but I need to call you out, Husky. I mean, I predicted ITX, they were going to do well, and then what do? You jump on that bandwagon, you predict ITX and Metrics were going to do well. What happened? Metrics gets eliminated first, ITX goes down next, right? So, you're jumping on my bandwagon and you're bringing my team down, right? You're not even giving them a chance to play right now. And ITX, I'm really disappointed because of this prediction, okay? So, Husky, that one's on you. But a big shout out to Fastkill. Just a big props for that. And Enigmax, honestly, we haven't talked about them. They were really struggling and they got second place. So, a big shout out to them for finally just getting at least to 2.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, Husky and his sway mouth and predictions, unfortunately.
I'll take it. Today is not my day, okay? Today is not my day.
It's all good. We all have the days that Metrics has, man.
Here's the thing. We put our money on 1/3 of the teams playing, and who would have thought all 4 of them drop out early? Okay, it's just an unlucky day for all of us.
Excuse me. Okay, Almighty did all right. They finished in the middle of the pack. They wasn't more like you guys.
You're settling for the middle of the pack now, Dad?
Actually, seriously, it was funny, right? Because, what was it? So, Almighty dropped in with Metrics, and I was like, oh my god.
Metrics didn't even let me finish that intro, right? They just... I was trying to build them up and they just got eliminated. Now that
goodness.
that is on them, okay?
Yeah. That was definite. That's definitely on them, man. I mean, pick your drop spots a little bit better. Back away if you see another squad there. Especially if you know that luck really hasn't been on your side, right? But Almighty, it was quite a good fight that they took. Gods of RNG were on their side, but kind of abandoned them shortly after.
It was very short-lived, for sure.
It was really short-lived. I think if Batman didn't get picked off so early, we could have looked at a completely different game. Because we know that Batman, I'd say he does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the kills for the team.
Yeah.
Like, without Batman, you've got the supporting cast without the superstar.
Oh, I mean, I think after this last round, we probably will see a big shift on the leaderboard for sure. The biggest loser is probably Blacklist International, just because the last round did not go their way. I think for all the other teams, they're still okay. You know, some of them had a bad round, but it's not gonna affect them too much. I mean, like Wheels, ITX, they might have not had a good round, but Blacklist International probably took the hardest fall just because they got knocked out that early.
Yeah, and not only did they get knocked out early, I think they're going to get knocked down the leaderboards as well, right? I mean, we were talking about it earlier, guys. The differential in terms of points for each and every single one of these squads, except in certain areas, for example, for Do Easy to catch up into the 12th spot, that's a huge gap in terms of points. For PXG to catch up with Supreme Assault Forces, huge gap in points. But for everybody else, it's just all out there, right? So it's anyone for the taking, and we're continuously seeing that leaderboard change each and every single week, which not each and every single week, but this week, you're right, Husky, it's been the biggest of change. And I think 4X-Men Expert are going to be very, very happy with how this week ends.
Yeah, same for Fastkill and Y. They have they have always been, you know, behind Freedom Rumble. And just within 1 week, they pulled ahead by a mile. I mean, Freedom Rumble had a horrible day. 2 rounds in a row, they got knocked out first, and they didn't get much out of it, right? And it is finally a day where Freedom Rumble's aggression somehow just backfires every time.
Yeah.
It just seems like
Almighty.
Right,
Even though Almighty got kicked out early, I think they are still in quite the secure position, right? Just because of their performance in here today. I mean, let's not talk about the final match. It was unfortunate, but overall today, Almighty's just been a different sort of a squad, guys. Holly, what do you think about their performance in comparison to those other weeks?
I think it was a little subpar. I think it was more average more than anything else. Almighty is one of those, it's really hot or cold teams, right? And I think that today was kind of like a mixed bag for me. I wasn't too impressed there with them today. But, you know, just to kind of what Husky was talking about in terms of fast kill, right? This is a team that just feasts on this Group A versus Group C matchup. They do really, really well. So I'm sure that they're going to be very disappointed with the whole shakeup moving forward, because this is how they get their points, and they're making sure that they do this. Again, just finishing strong. This is a team that you need to look out for, and hopefully they get a good mix-up in that next shakeup as we go into next week.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that shakeup, I think it's time we sort of talk about this, right? Because now the shakeup, it's imminent. It's going to happen. We'll talk about this over the highlights as well from our previous matchup. But are there any teams that you're looking at and thinking this shakeup is going to be so good for them?
Tactical Index.
Tactical Index?
Yeah. I think that they... Okay, you know what? It's so hard to predict, guys. It's so hard to predict because we don't know who's just going to be that ultimate kryptonite for another squad, right? Like, we've seen that happen before, and what's annoying is a team like Tactical Index, when they were initially dropped into this particular grouping, they could not find their strike. And now that they've finally gotten used to it, I hope they are able to just jump onto that platform and excel themselves forward instead of the exact reverse happening, because there's a high potential for that as well. It literally is a 50-50 with the mix-up, and that's exactly what I don't like about Free Fire and Garena, man. Y'all throw my predictions off with this mix-up.
For me, I will go with Wheels. I think this shakeup is probably going to help them a bit more. I know that I think across the first half we haven't we talk a lot about wheels and how good they are, but we never really look at them and be like, yeah, these guys are probably gonna end up with like a couple of booyahs. They have 3 so far under the belt, but I think this shuffle is gonna benefit them a bit more. We are seeing glimpses of brilliance from wheels, and maybe a bit of changes in the groupings is gonna give them a bit more room to shine.
For me, I think it's going to be Bloody Head, right? I think that they're just starting to hit their stride right now, and then going into a little bit of a mix-up here as they place 8th place here. Not the greatest showing, but I think overall they've had a very positive score, and they did make a little bit of moves in that sense. But Argon Malaysia, look at this. Enigmax, these are the bottom, like the cellar dwellers that are kind of just making their way with 14 points apiece. Big showing up by Argon Malaysia and Enigmax, again, from the weaker Group A, so they're going to like that mix up as well.
I'm really keen to see what this leaderboard's gonna look like, right? The total bracket, to see if whether or not Blacklist have been able to maintain their position. I think the chances of them maintaining are really slim now. If they do maintain, it's what, maybe 1 or 2 points, but the chances of them losing their position easily, like 4X-Men, I think they have I think they're 4th place in the bag.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think as well, right? 4X-Men Expert crazy on the place in terms of getting those points, but not as aggressive as how they started off the MCP Major Season 2. And if they are able to find that stride once again after the shakeup, I have got no doubt whatsoever that they'll continue climbing up and potentially just sit between PXG as well as AKO. They've got the quality, they just do not have that consistency. And Blacklist International used to be that team with consistency, but now looking at the fact that they seem to be losing it, guys.
Whoa! No way. Tied.
Well played.
Wow. Yeah, this is a pretty huge shakeup, right? I think PXG definitely, I mean, not within arm's length, but, definitely within a probably grenade launcher range of SAF there. They're somewhat kind of close, but Blacklist International and 4X-Men Expert, we knew it was going to be close, but we did not think they were going to be tied at this stage. But that's a bit of a shakeup there. But look at Metrics, dropped, like they're 11th now. Bloody Head made their way into the top 12 position. Again, I just like where this team is heading.
Yeah. It almost seems like this, not just Do Easy, but anyone that comes into 13th place now, that 12th place is starting to look unreachable now, I feel. Right? Like, we don't have any teams that are really close. And down that far down the bracket, 30 points is significant.
I think the only team that has a chance right now is Do Easy, right? It's either Do Easy or it's no teams at all. So they are like they're probably the pack leader of the bottom dwellers. Like, if Do Easy can't make it, no one else can make it. Just based off of the performances of from the first 3 weeks.
All right, so just moving forward, obviously we're gonna have a shakeup. Okay, let's just play a little role play right here. If you happen to be coach of, like, let's say one of the bottom 9 teams on this one, what are you telling them moving forward? And AJ, I'll let you take the first stab at this.
Pick your drop zones a little bit better. You see someone else, run away. Don't get into a fight. Just make sure you play the game of survival. And the very first few fights that you take, you are either forced into them or you start them at that final zone. That'll be my only advisement. I mean, if you are at the bottom already, you're not a bottom feeder. You're feeding others, right? And you just have to stop giving away all of those skill points. And because when you give away those skill points, you don't get to pick points up for yourself. So it has to be that one strategy that these teams go in with. Because who's at the bottom? Cannot Brain, Umbrella Reborn, Argon MY, Z Squad. We've seen them. They can take quite good gunfights. So I rather them play the game of luck in that final zone rather than early on in that matchup, Holler.
Okay. All right. What about you, Husky?
Yeah. The most interesting part is that, again, the teams from Group A, somehow they keep hot dropping into each other. They're just taking each other out before the game even starts, right? So after the shuffle, I don't think that's going to happen as often. And I would probably do the same thing what AJ suggested. Just play placement points. I am fine if you don't get a lot of kills, but if you can get 12 points, 9 points, 8 points per round, it's going to bring you closer and closer towards the 12th place regardless, right? You have a better chance of qualifying by just racking up placement points than trying to fight everyone else and just ending not getting anything at all.
I'll just quickly chime in here. I think, especially for the bottom dwelling teams, a lot of them are very passive. I'd probably spend the next week trying to polish up your gunfighting in compounds, because a lot of these teams, they're playing passive and they just end up being food. Sometimes you just have to take the first shot. So if they could maybe, I mean, it's a hard call because you only have 1 week to do this.
Yeah.
Polish up your close quarter gunfighting, and also be wary of your resources, because we're seeing a lot of these bottom dwelling teams, they're not using their grenades to open fights, they're not using their glue walls, they're basically dying with all these resources that they could be using.
Yeah, agreed.
And my advice
Agreed
to
there.
the bottom dwelling team is to claim the code right below. Feel free to just type that in, MCP GSP 5KK UZR. We're going to be ending the stream, so as long as, when we stop talking, the code is going to stop working. So you might as well just apply as quickly as possible. Make sure you type that in. And of course, it's not first come, first serve, but it's just more of everyone can have it. So feel free to just spread that love. Let everyone have it, even the top teams. They can all just redeem that code in now. So feel free to do that. This is going to be day 6 of the MCP. We're going to have 6 more days ahead of us. Any final words before we sign out for the week?
Can't wait for the shuffle. This is where we really see who gets to pull a hit, and we really see who is the best team. SAF, I know they're now considered considered the best team, but I'm gonna be the guy that reigns on the parade. Maybe they are the best team because of the grouping. What happens if we go for the shuffle? Maybe they won't be the best anymore.
Yeah, technically within the same grouping itself, they started falling off, towards the very final days in here. Yes, they managed to bag that booyah, but I don't think it is anywhere near as consistent as what we had at the start of the MCP Major Season 2, right? So I think you are right, but half right. Regardless, I think Supreme Assault Forces are going to continue falling, and PXG, AKO, these big brands are going to continuously climb up. But the one team I'm definitely looking to see more out of, or I have to say 2 teams, is Views as well as Almighty. They've been able to step it up. Views more consistently compared to Almighty, but you never know what these mix-up might bring.
Yeah, I have to agree with Wheels. I mean, they got thrown in a pretty deep pool, right, with their grouping. So, all eyes on Wheels. I'm also gonna have to say, Do Easy, if you are playing the late game, you have to wake up now. Please, it is getting far too late. You really need these points. You can't mess up now. Please catch up, because we saw it last season. You know what they're probably going to do? It's going to be like, oh, during the last week, we're going to play fantastic. And give us all heart attacks. But I'm looking forward to the roster shuffle. Not the roster shuffles, the group mix-ups.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to have the roster shuffle. That's going to be coming in for day 7 on behalf of Husky, AJ, Danny, and myself, Holler. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. MCP Season 2, Day 7, coming ahead next week, Saturday, same time, same place. See you then.
are champions. We'll be warriors tonight, and like warriors we'll fight. We'll be victorious tonight. We are champions. We're champions tonight. We were born for this fight. We'll be glorious tonight. We are champions. We'll be warriors tonight, and like warriors we'll fight. We'll be victorious tonight.
Ku takes let's go down. Spade dropped onto the ground. Jabat goes down as well for X-Men. X-Men not looking great at all.
Teams will be squished in together. Who will take this fight and who will take this booyah?
It's going to be Almighty on our screen. They're putting up the kill. Shira is down, but Batman, he's running into the center. We're planning to smash it. It's public to everyone. Can Almighty do this? He's the last man alive. Almighty turns around, and I think they've done it.
But he does not get the hits onto Batman, and Batman can't even pull those flanks off. Beautiful nade placement coming through from Jembal, but Shira gets taken down, eliminated immediately. Gives me so much of confidence in this team of Enigmax. V2, beautiful nade now being tossed up front. And you know, you did talk about V2 a little bit earlier on in this competition. What crazy placement. Manchai might be able to go in for the knock on a couple of players, but if he wants to take advantage, he needs to get the delete as well. Players from the side of Enigmax now coming in for the snuff. V2 with those questions, and Manchai needs to get away, but with the shotgun, is able to bring in so much of challenge.
But let's go gets another snipe, and Goku, he has to spend so much time. The grenade flying through. This might just be it. This might just be the finish that ends it all for X-Men Expert.
Triple kill. Shut down. Quadruple kill. Quadruple kill.
Survivors, saya perlukan sokongan.